Hello, I'm Duane, aka Duane Cube, and we are about to put an age-old argument to rest. Cue music.
It's time for the LoGG.
Play ball!
Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to
Woo!
it.
Come on!
Yeah.
Woo!
Up yours, Star Wars.
Right, hang on.
I've nailed my colours to the mast early there, sorry.
Yeah, you kind of... Right, so three of us have decided that we're going to have a little bit of fun in the no man's land that falls between Christmas and New Year, and we're going to have a little bit of fun discussing which is better, Star Wars or Star Trek. Now, the two of us are in very definitive camps here. Dave is very definitely Trek. I'm very definitely Wars. And Stuart is our lovely middleman moderator. He kind of likes both, although he kind of errs towards Wars a little bit more, I think. But, you know, he does enjoy both. So, over to you, Stu.
Yes, so we have to declare that because, as everybody who knows me, I am more partial to Star Wars than Star Trek. One thing, I've got Star Wars memorabilia and I have no Star Trek memorabilia, so I don't know if that sways the pendulum a different way or whatever. But I will be as honest as I can be, and I will be as fair. So this is going to be leagued, but this is not going to be included in the league totals. We've just leagued this to ourselves. So what's the best? And I think people might be talking about this for years, that this will be the definitive documentation of which is the best, Star Wars or Star Trek. You know what? It could even come out as a dead heat somehow. I don't know how, because we've managed to do the numbers where that won't happen. But you never know. It might happen. So we've got...
One of the categories could be a draw, then it'll be like,
so
wow.
we've got 15 categories in this competition, and we don't really know how long it's going to go either, because it could get quite passionate, or it could be very quick. We don't really know, so we'll start on there. Right then, so we're going to start from number 1. This is a big one, because it's the volume of content. So, Duane, hit me.
Right, okay. So, just looking at the volume of content, we have 9 main movies. So there's this what they've called the Skywalker saga. So there's 9 of those. There's 2 anthology movies. Rogue One and Solo. There are 2 movies we don't talk about, but they exist. And that's the 2 Ewok movies, Caravan of Courage and Battle for Endor, which were just both fucking... I will hold my hands up.
Forgot about those.
Yeah, they were terrible. There's also an animated Clone Wars movie, the Clone Wars series, the Star Wars Rebels, Star Wars Resistance, The Mandalorian, The Bad Batch, Visions, and The Book of Boba Fett, which I think is out today... For me,
very soon. Yeah, very soon.
Yeah, like imminently. And then there was also
that doesn't count because it's not out.
Okay,
is it?
okay, that's fine.
Okay,
as recording this podcast, that is not out, so that cannot be included.
But the trailer was, and the trailer's awesome. So, and then there was also 2 animated shows which were out in like the late 80s, the Ewoks and the Droids, which I actually watched both of those, and they were both very, very enjoyable. So that's how much
recently,
Star Wars...
or when you were a child?
When I was a child, they're on Disney Plus, but I haven't watched them since because it might ruin it for me.
Well, it's because Star Wars is for kids, isn't it? Really, so.
Right, so
no cheap swipes, thank you.
No. Right, so let's just do a little rule query. Right, are we talking now the volume of content? Are we talking motion pictures or television series? Because Star Trek really to be fair, is really rooted in its TV and Star
TV
Wars.
and TV and
Right,
We're
film.
talking
then,
TV and
so-
films.
Right, okay. Now, when we're talking about TV as well, you're not counting each individual episode. You're just counting the original series of Star Trek. That's classed as one, and then Next Generation is two. Not how many episodes within there.
There were 78 episodes.
There were,
the
but
original
mate, they
series,
weren't
you
all
see.
good. I'll tell you that much. And I loved Star Trek Next Gen.
Spock's Brain is a classic.
No, I didn't say they're all bad, did I? I said some of them. So anyway, okay. So there's a lot of content there. Now I've got to admit,
There's a
I
lot of content.
think a lot of it ramped up as soon as Disney bought.
Yes. So
I mean, there
lot...
was a lot of stuff like Clone Wars and things like that, which Lucas made, and it was part of his empire at that point. But I think when Disney took over, they started really churning the stuff out, good or bad, depending on.
So
that's very
Mandalorian,
subjective.
Bad Batch, I think all kind of came
Yeah.
after the Disney buyout.
Yeah. So, okay.
What's the Bad Batch? I've not heard of that.
So it's it's on Disney Plus. I've not watched it. Just time, man.
It's
time.
okay. It's okay.
It's about like a troop of clone troopers who I think they're slightly defective, and it's about their adventures. So
Who's in it? Who's
I don't know anybody any famous really.
I don't think there's any
I can't really
famous
think of
characters in
anybody. Yeah. But it's definitely aimed at children as well. It's definitely a early teen made program. So which is fine. I mean, because Star Trek also do their cartoons as well, which are aimed at a very younger market. So it's all good. They have to get the new blood in, don't they? At some point. Now, how are you going to do it? You can't always appeal to the man babies. I mean, there's only so far that can take you.
because we're going to start dying off soon.
Exactly.
Then what are you left with?
So that's quite a volume of films there. So Dave, volume of content because it's not just films. So Dave, what have you got in return for that one?
well? So the original series we said, it's 68 episodes actually. I think I said 78. I was over egging it straight away. That was 3 seasons. That was back in the 60s, as you guys know. Then we've got 7 seasons of Next Generation, and these were seasons that they're sort of around 22 episodes long. Mine, so episode count. Well, I don't know.
140 something, 160.
Yeah, per season. So it's a lot, isn't it?
That's a lot.
Don't you have forgotten the animated series, by the way, which was made in 73 to 74.
Yeah, I'm not doing this chronologically.
Okay, fair enough then. Sorry, I ruined your flow. Sorry, carry
on. Do you know what? Actually, I think I did forget. There's so much, right? There's so much. I can't keep track of it all. Right then, so Next Generation. Then we've got 7 seasons of Deep Space Nine.
Yeah.
Again, 20 odd episodes per season. 7 seasons of Voyager. 4 seasons of Enterprise. Cut up short because it wasn't the best.
Yeah.
4 seasons so far of Discovery.
Mm-hmm.
1 season of Picard.
Yep.
With another season on the way.
That doesn't count, remember.
It doesn't. No, I broke my own rule there. Actually, and sorry, no, I have got the animated series. Here we go.
Oh, yeah.
Two seasons of that. 2 seasons of Lower Decks.
Yep.
Which is like a comedy cartoon thing.
Really not funny, but yeah.
I think I watched 1 and thought... But we're not talking quality at the minute, boys, are we? We're just talking volume.
Just on quantity. Quantity
Yeah,
at this point.
Quantity, yeah. Never mind the quality, feel the width.
The girth of the problem.
Then we move on to the movies. So we've got 6 movies featuring the original crew.
Mm-hmm.
Captain Kirk, Spock, and the rest of them. 4 films with the Next Generation crew. and 3 of the reboot Star Trek.
The J.J. Abrams
the
ones.
Chris Pine. Yes.
Pine. I knew it. I couldn't remember which Chris it was. There's so many fucking Chris's in Hollywood at the moment. It's ridiculous. I was like,
Chris Pine.
It's one of the Chris's. I don't know.
The Kelvin timeline, I think they call those films. So 3 of those at the moment. So huge amount of content.
Right, that's just film or filmic content, as in TV film. We're not talking books at the moment here.
No, that's
all either. So
that's
at the end.
So it's important to state that we're only talking about stuff which you can get on the TV, on film, at a cinema, or whatever that way. So right, okay, that's cool. I've got to say, I do think Star Trek has it on this one, just because of the amount of content on the TV series. They are, I mean, for me, the TV series, on all the TV series, were very hit and miss, and we can go into later on. We'll go into the a bit more in-depth descriptions, but you can't deny Star Trek is so much of it. Bloody hell! It's just when you look at really what has been delivered over since the 60s, 66. To the present day, and including feature films as well, which I would say majority of them are quite good as well. There's some rough ones in there, but the majority good ones. So I'm going to give the vote to Star Trek on this one.
I think that's fair.
Purely because the numbers don't lie on that one.
Straight in. There was a story a few years back. This is before streaming, that there was that much Star Trek and that many episodes of Star Trek floating around that if you had a powerful enough satellite dish that you could pick up all the TV channels, and you could get everything. You could watch Star Trek continuously because there's always
didn't they say this?
Star
Didn't they
Trek
say
on
this
somewhere.
the same thing about Roseanne at one point? It was always on somewhere. So that's no gauge of
Did they
being any good.
Yeah, all right. No, okay. But I'm happy to kick off with a win for the Trek. I'm doing Trek proud so far.
But again, I will reiterate: we're talking quantity, not
content.
quality.
We're not talking quality of content. We're just talking content, and they are
Sheer
the clear.
volume of content.
Yes, Star Trek is a clear
when you keep
winner.
rehashing the same. I mean, what is Star Trek? It's just like people in a spaceship just visiting different planets.
No, you did say no cheap shots. Come on now.
That's not a cheap shot.
Come on,
I'm just
Duane.
saying. I'm just saying.
He's on the defensive already.
We only an option one. We got plenty. Don't you worry, Duane. You got plenty numbers to go yet. So, right then. So, number 2, movie takings. Now, this is going to be an average across all the movies. And to be fair, what we really should do it in is the opening weekend. Because obviously, films make a lot of money after the fact as well. And how can you really
that's fair.
truly monitor that? Where we have numbers of definite opening weekend in the US as well, to be fair, because I've got those numbers. I haven't got any other numbers. But, just like...
I don't have those numbers. I've just got...
Okay, so we've got like one,
takings.
so, and we've got, so all the films, now admittedly there are slightly more, I think there's slightly more Star Wars films than Star Trek, I believe. Only by a few, only by about 3, I think.
It's pretty equal.
Yeah, pretty equal. So,
I think Star Trek might actually edge it out. Actually.
Now, and also these figures, which I've noticed when I've done I wouldn't say I've done a lot of research. I just looked into them. The numbers are what they were at that time. So what £1 million was in the 70s is not what £1 million is today, kind of thing. So and these numbers don't adjust for inflation either. So it's a bit of a strange one. So because the films don't come out exactly at the same time. There's not a franchise film. There's not Star Wars and Star Trek coming out on the same day every time. So it's a bit. You got to be a bit more playful with the figures, I would say. So, who wants to go first on this one? I'll say Dave can go first because he went for Duane went.
Yeah, I will. But judging by what you've just said, I have not looked into it in that depth, Stu.
Right. Okay.
I've done no adjustment for time of year for what year it came out or anything like that.
Right,
So I'll just kind of give you the figures I've got. It sounds like you might off, Stu, to be fair.
Sure. Okay. Well, what I'll do when the podcast goes live, in the description, I'll put a link to the Star Wars and Star Trek wiki. So see people, and we're only going by the wiki one. Now we know that wiki is not 100% sacrosanct because people can edit it, whatever. But there's also a website called The Numbers, which have got all the gross domestic box office for a weekend as well, which is very handy for this one. So, but I'll put all those in the links. But let's see what you've got then, Dave.
Right. So yeah, take-ins then. So I've done a little bit of research into this, but not not a great deal, Stu. Right. So the lowest take-in Star Trek movie, which kind of makes sense, is Star Trek Nemesis, which took
I agree. Yeah.
67 million, and that had Tom Hardy in it, and that's all it took.
Okay, you're looking at worldwide box office there. Okay,
I
that's fine.
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we'll do that one now. Okay, that's fine.
The highest take-in is Star Trek Into Darkness, which is 467 million.
I know. So it's all right, Dwayne. It's all right. Let him carry on. It's okay. I know. It's okay. Just let him. Don't steal his thunder. Come on.
So the total take-ins for all of the Star Trek films,
Yes.
2 billion.
That is a big number. To be fair, I mean, give it due. Come on, 2 billion.
Okay, yes,
is a lot of money.
yes.
266,907,732 pounds.
Well, you don't have to be that accurate, but like a lot of people have been.
Actually, sorry, no, that's dollars. Sorry,
dollars.
that's dollars.
Normally they're US dollars, so
Yeah. Now there's
That's
been a lot
dollars.
of rich people made of these films, so we cannot snub 2.2. Let's call it 2.2 billion. Okay. Because
Well,
that's
let's round it up to 2.3 then. Why?
okay,
Actually,
that's fine.
no, 2.2. So that's an average per movie of $174,377,518 per movie.
Okay. Yeah.
That's what I've got. To be honest,
Awesome.
I'm not feeling confident now.
Well, you know what? You don't reserve any kind of judgment until Duane
No.
comes in with his sunglasses, takes them off.
So I've not gone into the kind of the details with that because, like Stu says, it's really difficult when the takings for the original episode 4 would have been like so much less. But if you kind of like adjusted for inflation, it'd probably do better than it would against some of the like the newer ones. But it's always difficult to say. But The Force Awakens total box office, I think, for its run was 2.07 billion.
So one film there, Dave. One film has basically crushed, and it's not even a good film.
It's not even one of the best. So
Well, we'll get on to quality later, boys.
yeah, we'll get on to quality later. So 2.07 billion for for the best takings for a single movie. The total takings for I think it was for.
Oh no! Look, to be fair, Dave also gave you the worst grossing movie.
Okay, so
we ought to give him the worst grossing movie here. Now, to be fair, I don't agree with what's in this numbers website because did the Clone Wars actually have a cinematic release?
yes,
Oh, okay. I stand corrected. That's me then not knowing properly.
I think it did.
Okay.
What do you mean? Oh, the cartoon one.
The cartoon animated. I think it got
I can't remember it had one. Yeah. Anyway, sorry. Carry on, Dwayne. Sorry.
But I don't know what that number is. So if you want to say,
Okay, it's right. So the worst grossing film. Well, this was for Clone Wars was 68 million, but Solo: A Star Wars Story was the second worst, which was at 393 million. Which is still not bad. Really,
still not bad.
Yeah, still not bad.
A
lot of people have got rich off that still. So
yeah. So the total which I've got here is 10.32 billion across all the movies, which gives us an average of 860 million per movie.
Yeah. Now, the first film, and also they started around about. Okay, so Star Trek was in 1979. And Star Wars is in 1976. 77, that was it, yeah. So so they're not that far apart. And when they started the movie franchises, they're quite close and whatever. So Dave, you can't deny this one. Star Wars makes a shit ton more money than Star Trek.
Have you heard the saying, "A fool and his money are often parted"?
No.
Have you? Have you?
Well, I would say that's irrelevant in this case.
Right, so I think that's quite exclusive. I mean, so we got 2 out of the way, and it's a nice draw. Look at that.
One
so
all
far.
each. That's good.
Yeah, well, it's not bad, is it? So right. This is a big one actually, and I don't know.
This is a difficult one.
This can take
actually.
a long time to discuss, really, because there's a lot of stuff on there. But cultural impact. So I'm going to pass this one over to Duane first. I'll be quite interested to hear what he thinks on this one.
So I think in the science fiction world, I think you'd be very hard pushed to find another franchise that has had as much cultural impact as Star Wars. I mean, I think it kind of bleeds out into so many other things, other TV shows referencing, just like phrases that you say. I mean, Star Wars has a day every year, May the 4th. I don't think Star Trek has a day.
May the 4th, what's that? What do you mean?
May the 4th. Don't be a dick, Dave.
All right.
Don't be Dave. Even, I'm going to be honest, right? So even like on this point, even Mario has a day, March the 10th. And Aliens has a day, April the 26th. Does Star Trek have a day?
Mass Effect has a day.
Mass Effect has a day. Star Trek doesn't even have a day, David.
Star Trek has, well, it has a Captain Kirk Day.
Oh, does it? Okay, so what's Captain Kirk Day?
It was his birthday, and he was born in Iowa, as people know, or he will be born in Iowa. Well, he won't be because it's not real, but that is celebrated by not by me, if I'm honest, because it's a fictional character's birthday, so let's not get carried away. But admittedly, there is no Star Trek Day.
Wow,
That's because every day is Star Trek Day.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Dave. Yeah.
So yeah, there's like sayings like May the Force be with you. Judge me by my size, do you? All kinds of things. And I think I was looking at one of my favourite TV shows. It's quite heavily influenced by Star Wars, which is Lost. So there are so many Star Wars references within Lost. I can't even begin to list them. But they've even kind of like lifted dialogue directly. So at the end of season 1, where they're building the raft, I think Michael says to Jin, like, no, that one goes there and that one goes there, which is a direct line from Empire. All kinds of things. So, and the only reference I think to Star Trek is I think they kind of talk about red shirts, and that's it.
Now, Duane, back down.
No,
not your argument to make. That's Dave's.
No, I'm just saying.
I'm the man. I'm in the middle, and you're
just saying.
You're now trying to.
In Lost, that's the only reference I could find that they made to Star Trek.
Just stand down, Duane. Stand down. You carry on. Leave the snipe quote.
Okay, so let Dave have his.
Oh, is it no more to talk
about? Have you finished already?
I just think it's too big. I think I would like to talk about everything that Star Wars has like brought into people's lives. Like with the merchandising, the fact that socks, t-shirts. It's just crazy. So I mean, I was thinking about it earlier. I think at one point Star Wars was like one of the highly sought after Christmas presents. I don't think Star Trek's ever had like anything in that list, like the highly sought after Christmas presents for any of the years.
Well, we'll jump onto Star Trek stuff in a sec because I've got some things I can remember when I was a child as well. So, like, can I jump in on the Star Wars stuff?
It doesn't exist. I'm just saying it's just never as highly sought after.
You better, Stu, because he needs help on this.
No. So I'm going to give some. I only could give like from my perspective as when I was a child. It changed my life. Star Wars did. Blew me away. I remember going to the cinema in Birmingham with my dad and coming out a okay, I was a child still, but coming out, just my little brain was, my little Stu's mind was blown about how amazing this was. And I also saw the motion picture at the cinema with my dad, and I was probably 12, and that's a long. I really like the motion picture. I don't know I'm talking about Star Trek right now, but I really like the motion picture. But it's a long film to ask a child to sit through.
It's a slog.
It is, it really is. But I quite liked it anyway. So, but the cultural impact for me at that moment, it all the sci-fi around at that time just seemed stagnant and just a bit. And I used to watch Star Trek when I was a kid and all that, and but it was like typical swashbuckling, Kirk, whatever, he does his thing and all that stuff. But it was the first time I just watched this thing. It had a start, middle, and end, and it was an epic space opera kind. I didn't even know what space opera was, so that's me as an adult now relaying those feelings. But as a kid, and the last scene in A New Hope, down the Death Star trench, I was bless him, my dad was alive now, he tell you. I was in this chair as an X-Wing pilot, and I was like raking the sounds of the X-Wing, and just lasers, and my dad was going, oh God, it's fully shit down, sit down, sit down, sit down. But those things and then after that, it just had engulfed my life. But the thing is, though, not just my life, all my friends around me, and so they all loved it as well. And I don't know, it's just had a really massive impact on me. And so now Star Trek did have a massive impact on me as well, because Dave I won't steal the thunder from Dave, but Dave will turn on there. But that there. But Star Wars was the thing which it showed that nothing has to be clean. Things can be dirty, and it's in space. It was the first time where you saw ships which weren't clean. They weren't squeaky clean like in Star Trek and things like, or any other sci-fi. I'm talking Star Trek, I'm talking any kind of sci-fi, even Battlestar Galactica. How clean was that? How clean was everybody in there? And they were running from their lives. They were being booted off their planet. They were being chased across the solar system with the Cylons. They got pristine, clean ships. Oh, that's nice of them. So this is the first time you saw this realistic kind of gritty. It wasn't. It was a start, middle, and end fairy's tale. Good vs evil. Very very simplistic storytelling. But the environments and the art direction, I'd never seen anything like it before. It was incredible in that side. So anyway, that's my cultural impact. Me, how it impacted me. Star Wars, how it impacted me. So
Okay, thank you for sharing, Stu. That was quite touching.
it's okay.
He's crying.
This one's to you, Dad.
Okay. Well, sorry. I thought when we said cultural impact, we actually meant proper cultural impacts, not how many T-shirts had Star Wars
Easy, Dave. Easy.
printed on them. I
Okay,
thought we meant proper
steady.
stuff.
Okay, enlighten us, David.
I'll chuck a couple out there to begin with. Then, does anybody know? Can anybody guess what the first space shuttle was called? Have a wild stab at it.
The Shatner.
It was called the Enterprise. And why was it called the Enterprise? It was called the Enterprise after Star Trek.
He has. That's a very good. That is a very good argument there, Dave. Very good, but it only really works for the Americans. That one, I think. Does it? No.
No.
Right, okay. Thank you for that in-depth argument.
Sip of beer.
No.
Move on. First multiracial kiss on television.
True. Yeah.
Captain Kirk and
okay,
Uhura.
Oh well, Star Wars had the first incestuous kiss.
Don't sully it, Duane. Don't sully it with your incest. The guy that invented Star Trek, Gene Roddenberry, right? He did it on purpose, right? Because I won't get too soppy about it. He saw a future with people working together, all sexes, all nationalities, all races, working together for the common good. In the future, and working by these lofty principles and all the rest of it. The amount of people, all the bloody scientists that say that they got into science because of Star Trek, it's just unbelievable. It's had a proper impact on the world. I don't mean it's in Lost they mention fucking Star Wars 15 times an episode or whatever. I mean proper impact.
Yeah, but has it though? I mean, has actually anything changed? The world's still a shit old place where people kill each other because they have slightly different colour skin. I wouldn't say we've actually... Anyway, this is getting too political. I wouldn't say
Yeah, but that's not
the...
really for Star Trek to actually change the course of
No,
humanity.
I understand the ethos, and it's one I can get behind, definitely. I mean,
1966 it came out. It had women in positions of power, in powerful positions. I had bloody black and white people working together. Mate, that was done on purpose to affect the world.
But your argument about scientists, I'm sorry, but I've heard scientists say that the love of Star Wars has made them want to do it, and their love of Battlestar Galactica has made them want to do it. So I have also heard the Star Trek argument as well. Don't get me wrong, but that one I'm sort of discarding, because I think any kind of sci-fi, and you're in that profession, you just go, oh yeah, I want it to be like that. People are slightly different across all boards. Some people prefer Star Wars, prefer Star Trek. This is why we're having this discussion right now. But I don't think I can really take that. Oh, because all scientists like Star Trek, therefore that's the way you made it sound. So I need to put it out there. It's both sides really on that one.
Star Trek are genuine, meaningful cultural impact. When it came out, it did, and it still has. Without Star Trek, there is no Galaxy Quest. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but that's a parody. You can't have that. That's a parody.
It's an homage. It's an homage. It's not a parody. It's an homage.
So
Star Trek it just resonates more deeply, which, to be honest, is a good analogy for the whole thing, really. Star Trek has got much more depth to it. The depth of its impact is more. Star Wars is all pop culture.
Well,
I
okay.
disagree.
No, I'm gonna bolster David's arguments up here. I think Star Wars, the actual story, mainline films we're talking now, they seem to be around a family, the Skywalkers, and that, and really, it's very singular, as in it's all about them. For God's sake, R2's in every bloody episode. It's things like that where, that's another thing, but it's a very. And okay, you see a lot of different cultures, a lot of different races, and a lot of different things, but you don't really either, because what your main focus
you don't know anything about them.
Is on. Yeah, but also Star Trek glosses over them really quickly, but there seems to be more of them, and there seems to be more of a. No. Oh, they don't spend like 4 days on a particular.
Well, we'll get to that.
We'll get to that.
But like, I'm actually bolstering your argument a bit, Dave. So let me go with it.
Oh yeah, carry on.
But like Star Trek seems to have, I don't know, more. Because there's more TV episodes, and with a TV series, you can develop your characters a lot more, and you can do a lot. I think you've got a lot more freedom. Where a film, you've literally got an hour and a half, 2 hours really tops to tell your story. Or after anything after that, then people get then a bit fatigued and stop or can't be bothered or whatever. With a TV series, as everybody knows, you can develop your characters. It can take a lot longer. Now, I think the development of stories, though, in that modern sense, definitely was not in the 60s, because they were very singular episodes. There was no, remember in Next Gen when that came out, that was the first time when I really saw story arcs. So you're watching one, and then and then in episode 10, and it's like, wow, this is amazing.
But it tackled really big things. The 60s episodes. They had an episode about racism.
Yeah, they do. But also, Star Wars does tackle those kind of things as well. In its own way.
Racism?
Yeah, in its own way.
When has Star Wars ever tackled?
I mean, God's sake, the Empire's built on fucking Nazism. God's sake, I mean, yes.
It's just all froth. It's all froth. It's all froth, no coffee.
Like
Star Wars.
The Empire is the most Nazi iconic imaging you could get in the sci-fi, really, than anything else. So, and they were the ultimate. Wanted to turn everybody blue eyes and take over the galaxy and kill everything. So. But with the Star Trek one, yeah,
I think it was
think-
mainly Europe he was interested in, wasn't it?
Say again,
It
sorry.
was mainly Europe. I'm not sure he was thinking about the galaxy.
Well, he was starting small. That's
And
all. He
Russia,
was starting
yeah.
small.
Yeah, the size small. No, but with the Star Trek one, yeah, I think there was a lot more. But this one's really hard. I don't think I can mark this one yet. This one is definitely going down as a question mark.
Martin Luther King had a conversation with Nichelle Nichols, who plays Uhura, because she wanted to quit. She didn't feel like her role was big enough. He said to her, "Please do not quit, because you are showing black women across the world what they can achieve." He begged her not to quit that role.
If they persevere, they can snog William Shatner. There you go. See, dreams can be made.
Yeah, I mean, Dave, you know what? Dave has got a point. That's a very good argument. I've got to admit, in the Star Wars
That's
camp,
proper cultural
there
impact.
is no,
Granted,
nobody asked
but-
Jar. Somebody should have asked Jar Jar to stand down, and nobody did.
No, but I mean, that's fair comment. But Star Trek's coming from a basis of reality almost, isn't it? As much as it's kind of based in our world, our universe. So those are things which can be discussed and tackled. Whereas I don't think Star Wars, because it's like a different galaxy.
Mate, just because it was a long time ago, far, far away, it doesn't...
No, I understand. But it's difficult to address those things without actually introducing them first as an issue. So that you'd have to set up the whole thing of like, this is something that happens in this world, and this is how we're going to address it. Whereas with Star Trek, it's like, everybody knows that racism exists because it's our world, our universe. Does that make sense?
There's stuff that they could challenge if they wanted to, but they don't. It's just because they just
Yeah,
don't.
but they have done it in Star Wars as well. Like in Mandalorian, they've done it in that one, like that episode where they're when he goes down onto the planet, it's like villagers. I forgot the one it is, and they're being attacked by these people who want their food and stuff. And it was obviously this power struggle because they were classed as less than second class citizens and all that kind of thing. I mean, and that story arc is across all the Star Wars films. Really, there is always that, and also the heavy handedness in oh god, I forgot what film it is with the death sticks. Remember that one, the smoking thing, and I know that's trivial compared to racism and sexism and all that kind of thing, but that all the films have had those kind of messages in there in the Star Wars one, and Star Trek also has a very strong message of inclusivity and all those kind of things as well. This is why I'm finding this one really hard to market. However,
I want to call this one.
his argument though, Dave's argument on Martin Luther King is a damn good one, I gotta say, and I'm edging more over to that one, which pains me because I'm a big Star Wars fan, But like, I'm going to come back to that one if you don't mind. Or I'm going to think about it, and then I might give you the answer probably near the end or whatever on that one. So that one's 50-50 there, chaps.
I have no idea how you can be calling that 50-50, but fine.
Yeah, well, trust me, Dave, it's more, okay, 50 plus Star Trek, if that helps.
You can only go up to 100.
So, right then. This is going to be a biggie. This is going to be I've got to admit, this category, when I saw it, it's a little bit unfair.
Well, this is one of Dave's categories, so
yeah, because it's
towards...
right. Sorry for the listeners. Right, the next category is TV show quality. Now, everybody knows the core medium for Star Wars are films. Yes, they have TV series and all those kind of stuff, but it was never. They're supplemental. Star Trek has always been about the TV series. And the film's supplemental to that.
Well, it's got more films than Star Wars, but yeah, fine.
What is
Star Trek?
No, yeah,
it's like one more.
Yeah, I think it's one more, but
yeah, but they're all important. It's supplement
reboots and remakes,
and also the different qualities of film. You can't
start like stores in their own right,
really. But like what I'm trying to outline here is this is a bit of a strange one because the TV series is what Star Wars have been very good quality, kind of. And Star Trek, that's its bread and butter. TV is its bread and butter, really, if you think about it. I mean, look at the earnings on films. I mean, who earns the most, really, on that one? So, but what I'm going to do, I'll pass this one over to Duane first. and let's hear this one.
Well, I say so. This one's actually, like I say, I think this one's going to be a whitewash in Dave's favour because of just the sheer volume of TV that Star Trek has. I mean, I think if you're looking at Star Wars, I think there's only, I'm going to have to go back, but I think there was, like I say, those 2 kids' cartoons. Well, they're for kids. They're sort of not going to be great quality, are they? And then there's like the Rebels and the Resistance, which again, and the Clone Wars. I think are all kind of aimed more at the younger market, so they're not going to be kind of like in depth, sort of deep.
I mean, there's a lot of callbacks and a lot of lore stuff in there. But you are right.
They're never going to really kind of give anything too amazing. The Mandalorian, I think, is probably the standout series for Star Wars, and I think both seasons were very, very good. Very different to the movies. They're kind of a bit more sort of slow burny, but I think their quality is outstanding. I think Jon Favreau did an amazing job with them. I think they're very cinematic in their own like rights. Each episode was kind of sort of very big scale. So yeah, I think if we had more of those, I think this might be a bit more. But I think basically the only one I can offer you is The Mandalorian.
Yeah, because I agree. I mean, it is very good, The Mandalorian. To be fair, I didn't like it at first, but after the second watch, I did warm to it. And it is very good. And I like it because they can take their time to tell a story. It's not like in a film. Very good. Do it quite quickly.
Very sort of slow
and that
burn,
one, there is an arc. And it's slow burn
sort of
and you
character
can develop
progress.
the characters. Yeah, of course, yeah. And a lot like Star Trek, especially in the episodes in the early 90s where I think the arc was really put into Star Trek in that side. So okay then, so Dave.
Okay. The Mandalorian is really good, to be fair, and I watched that, and that is great. And I think that Star Wars has got some real good quality stuff on the horizon. We've mentioned the Boba Fett thing that's not out just yet, or might be out tomorrow or whatever. I don't know. And there's some other stuff as well in there they've got coming out.
There's the Obi-Wan series, which could be good. I'm kind of reasonably hopeful for that, but we can't judge it because it's not in the real world. And I think there's like a Cassian Andor, one of the characters from Rogue One, sort of talking about sort of the building up. The Rebel Alliance. I think that one could be quite good too. So
I think you've got some quality telly on the way. Yeah, you've definitely got some quality TV on the way.
But at the moment, it's The Mandalorian.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of stuff that's out now. You've quite rightly, Duane, dismissed all the cartoons, so well done for that.
Well, I think the Clone Wars is supposed to be good, but I've never watched it because it was never on something I could watch.
I've seen them,
at some point,
and they're good, but they are definitely
because they're aimed at kids. It wasn't something I was like rushing to watch.
Yeah, they're not aimed at us, really. Well, they are aimed at a Star Wars fan. And actually, Clone Wars, I thought the Sir series was amazing. There's one episode which is just incredible, and there's no talking in it. It's just lots of stormtroopers like giving gestures to go. It's brilliant. Anyway, but yeah, it's definitely not an adult. They're not adult cartoon in that sense, Dave. So stop looking up on that.
All right. So so we talked about the original series, Kirk, and all the rest of it. Then we've got Deep Space Nine, Voyager. I mean, the original series was a bit hit and miss. To be fair, there are some.
Oh, Voyager, you saying?
No, the original series. There were some really good episodes, but there was quite a bit of in the third. Season. It was.
I gotta admit, researching this, I thought it ran on longer than it did. It only ran for 3 years. It's such a short.
The original, it was very short-lived.
Hey, boys, go back to the previous category, cultural impacts, because I'll tell you what, it was 3 series and it was cancelled, but syndication saved it. So basically, people would not accept that it had gone. This is the fans. So there was loads of pressure on, and they just started rerunning it. It was fucking Star Trek was gone. It was dead and buried. But then they started rerunning it. And well, look where we are now. Anyway, yeah. So that was the original series. Season 2 was the best. Season 3 was they were sort of running out of money. They lost they'd had the time slot moved by the network, and it had all just gone to shit a bit, really.
I hate American TV show companies.
Yeah.
They just drive me mad. Just don't get me started on that one again.
Bastards. Deep Space Nine was pretty good. It was a bit different.
Well, it was not good at the start, but it certainly improved near the end in these latter episodes, latter seasons. I think,
yeah, and it's got some real hardcore fans.
Yeah.
Voyager. I mean, personally, I really like Voyager. That gets a little bit of stick, but
I like Voyager. I quite like Janeway.
I thought
She was
she's
all
a
right.
great captain.
She was all right.
Enterprise, yeah, it was all right.
Sucked balls in my eyes.
Okay, sucks balls. Discovery is decent. Picard, the one season we've had of that, was all right. But what I'm holding up here is the Next Generation was absolute quality, and I would challenge anyone to argue that.
Oh no, I can't argue it because most of them were. Watch them back now, they're terrible. But let me.
The Next Generation. We talking about the same program, Stu?
Yeah. The first watch the very first episode. Is it Adventure at Farpoint?
Encounter at Farpoint.
Encounter at Farpoint.
My
God.
Okay.
Yeah. But hang on. When I saw that, I was at school, and I remember they weren't showing Next Gen on TV, but you could get the video of the series. So I used to go to my local video store and I repeatedly kept on hiring that one, as long with Star Wars as well, because I did. But I kept on repeating hiring that one and then watching it everywhere, and I loved it. And there was 3 episodes. I remember Farpoint was the first one. I can't remember the second and third. There was always 3 on the tape, and I absolutely loved it. And then when the video shop had the next tape, I went, right, I'm getting that one. I can't wait till the next one and all that. Watching them back now, it is a hard watch because they don't age well. They just don't. It doesn't matter what you say. The first series is just awful.
General rule of thumb: if you're watching an episode of Star Trek and you're thinking, "Is this any good?" Look and see if Riker has got a beard or not. Because if he's got a beard, it's more than likely going to be a good episode.
Riker.
If he hasn't got a beard,
hang on. Well, we're going a bit over his for boys because that's characters and villains and heroes, and we need to talk about those later on.
So is that the same? Is that the same thing with Spock having a beard or not?
No. He had like a goatee beard. The Mirror Universe Spock had a goatee beard.
Yeah.
So Riker's beard, mate, is a stamp of approval on an episode of Star Trek. If he's got a beard, yes. But anyway, to be honest, I think Star Trek trumps Star Wars on quality of TV content.
But only because it
quite easily.
But only because it has so much more to potentially choose from.
Throw enough shit at the wall. Is that what you're saying?
Something's going to stick.
Take The Mandalorian then, which is the best you've got to offer, and then The Next Generation, which is the best I've got to offer. The Next Generation is miles better than The Mandalorian.
Okay, what's your thoughts on Discovery? As in what has been shown so far? We've had 3 series.
I'll have a slight whinge then about the current state of the world. Quickly then, because Discovery, I've watched 3 seasons of Discovery. Discovery season 4, which is currently airing now, I can't watch because it got pulled from Netflix about 2 days before it was going live.
Why?
Because Paramount Plus wanted it for themselves to have on their streaming service, so people would have to. I'll tell you what, streaming, although it's great, it's fucking
There's a lot of willy waving.
In terms
of a lot of willy waving.
There's always Star Trek has always been surrounding controversy about who owns what, who can show what. The TV series is normally out of sync with the films, and the films aren't canon to the TV, and all they are now, or they're not, and who owns it. This is why you've not had a film in Star Trek since, was it 2014? Because they can't decide on
there is a big rumble going on into
and you know what, and that's a real shame because as much as I didn't like the AJ films, I just didn't, but I was happy that they were there. I don't like some of the Star Wars films, but I'm actually happy that they're there. I mean, I've got nothing they should be erased off the face of the earth. No, it's just I'm glad that they're there because somebody likes them, and that's fair enough. isn't it?
Ironically, the J.J. Abrams films are more Star Wars than they are Star Trek.
Well, the Star Trek, I think I only saw 2 of those, and I'll be honest, I quite like them.
Oh no, well, they're good. They're good.
I enjoyed them.
I even like Into Darkness, which people slated, but I think
I saw the one with I saw the first one obviously, and then I think I saw the second, which had Benedict Cumberbatch in.
Yeah,
But
As
hang on a sec,
Khan.
boys. We're in the TV section here.
No, I just I quite enjoyed those. I didn't see the last one. I don't know why I never got around
that's
to
a
watching
good point.
it.
That's a good point, Stu. Anyway, Next Generation. I rest my case. Come on.
Yeah, I am going to have to give this one
I
to
would.
Dave, because
I would.
it's the volume
I'd
of
have to.
content, and
mean,
okay, and the only thing that Star Wars have got to offer, which is good,
It's Mandalorian.
yeah, it has had like just one series so
It's
far.
20
So-
episodes, so it's like
Exactly. So
even me with my unbiased brain would have to say Trek. Piss
Yeah.
break.
so
Yes.
So we return. Well, we return after this short little wee break, and welcome back. So we've discussed so far. We'll have a little run. Volume of content, movie takings, cultural impact, and TV quality. I've voted on volume of content, movie takings, and TV quality. I'm still thinking about cultural impact.
Still.
I'll get back to you on that one. Still thinking on that one. So, but the current scores are Star Trek is winning 3-2. 2-1. So the next category,
Early days, mate. Early days.
Yeah.
the next category we've got to is this is quite a good category. Number of in inverted good movies, not TV, good movies. Go on, then, Dave. You go first.
I've been quite harsh here, I think, because you got to be honest. So I can't sort of sit here in good what's it and say that a bad Star Trek film is a good Star Trek film to try and score a point. So I haven't. For a while, there was a general rule with Star Trek films, which was
if it's odd, it's bad. If it's good, if it's even, it's good. Is that the one?
exactly, yeah, that's it. Yes. So so if I'm listing the good films, then Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan
Was a good movie. I did like The Wrath of Khan.
To be honest,
I will say good movie.
I think it's
Good movie.
probably is widely sort of held up as the best one.
Definitely.
Which it probably is, I think. Then Star Trek 4.
Was that The Voyage Home?
That's
That
where
was
they
terrible.
get the whales.
That was terrible.
Fuck off, Duane. What do you mean
Terrible.
it was terrible?
That's
It
got one
was
of my favourite
terrible.
jokes in it. Where what's his name? The engineer. Fucking hell,
Scotty.
Dave, help me out. Scotty picks up the mouse to talk to it.
Oh yeah, hello computer.
Yeah, when he's in that eyes, and it always makes me laugh every time. I love it. But that says something more about me, Duane, than anything else. So.
And I'm
No,
sort
it was bad.
of.
It was
I'm
bad.
s- Duane, mate. I'm sort of sticking Star Trek 3 in there as well. The Search for Spock.
I like the Search for
I
Spock.
thought that was okay. From
I
what
like-
I
I like
remember.
the-
Haven't seen it for
yeah,
a while.
I
but thought
liked-
it was okay.
And it's part of. See, there's a trilogy of films within Star Trek films, and it's 2, 3, and 4. So,
What about motion picture?
spoiler alert. Well, no, the 2, 3, and 4 are the kind of it's one film really in 3 parts.
Yeah, I suppose. It is.
So
and the motion pictures
you've got
nothing like those
you've
films.
got the no, you've got the Wrath of Khan, where spoiler alert, Spock dies at the end
No! My
After her-
God.
heroically saving the Enterprise. Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock, he gets jettisoned in a photon torpedo tube onto the Genesis planet, and his body starts regenerating. And meanwhile, he's put his essence, his katra, his spirit, into Bones, Dr. McCoy.
This sounds
so
awful.
Star
wrote
Trek
this?
3 is about them rescuing Spock from the Genesis planet.
Yeah, just remember, Duane, trade disputes.
Trade
So
dispute.
Yeah.
you've got
Trade-
no reason to
trade-
talk
trade
about anything.
disputes. And then Star Trek 4, The Voyage Home, there is no Enterprise because they blew up the Enterprise at the end of Star Trek.
I
3.
like that film.
So
I'd love to go to the cinema to see that.
They're in the. I do as well. I do as well. They're in the Klingon Bird of Prey. They go back in time via slingshot around the sun to get a couple of humpback whales because they're the only. Oh fuck it! I can't. It's a brilliant film, Duane. Star Trek 4. So anyway, that's like a trilogy of Star Trek films within all the Star Trek.
Oh
films.
yeah, I'm gonna agree with that. That is a good. I've never thought of it of those being a trilogy, but they are. Aren't
They lead on
they
from
are.
each other. Yeah,
They do. Yeah,
just
yeah.
brilliant. Star Trek 5 is dog shit. Admittedly,
Which one was 5? I don't think I ever saw 5.
That's where Spock's got a brother, and they go and Captain Kirk has a fight with God. Basically, it's it ain't great.
Sounds great.
not-
I think I'll watch that.
Who directed that one? Was it?
That was
Leonard
Shatner.
Nimoy? Was it Shatner who did that one?
Yeah, yeah. Nimoy did 3 and 4.
Yeah.
Shatner obviously thought, oh, I'll have a go at this, and he's doing all right. And fucking Jesus, but then totally redeemed. The series was totally redeemed with Star Trek 6: The Undiscovered Country, which is an absolute classic film. And I think, thinking about it, I think that one is my favourite. And if you put it on now, and I watched it, and you guys have probably got films like this, I can just recite all the dialogue whilst it's going on because I just know it because I've seen it that many times. Absolute classic. So far, we've got 2, maybe 3, 4, and 6. We're skipping over 7 Generations. That all right? It wasn't brilliant.
That was dog. That was. Talk about shoehorning characters in. That was terrible. That one.
But then we've got Star Trek First Contact, the one with the Borg, which was the second outing for the Next Generation crew. That's the one with the Borg Queen. That is fucking brilliant. Don't go.
No. Look, remember, this is all very subjective, and this is my personal opinion. And I've got to admit, anything after 4, I really don't care about.
Yeah, all right.
I just don't.
Take my word for it then. 6 was brilliant.
Okay, I'll take your word for it.
8.
I've seen them all, by the way.
brilliant.
I have seen them all. So
Then the Next Generation had a couple of rubbish ones. To be fair, Nemesis we mentioned
Nemesis was
earlier.
awful, wasn't it? It was
Yeah,
so bad.
and the one before that was called Insurrection, which
Yeah,
wasn't
Not
very
good.
wasn't very good. It is okay, but it wasn't very good.
Then we enter the JJ.
Yeah, so and I'm probably sticking the first reboot he did, the first one that Abrams did. I mean, I really liked it, but that is widely considered to be good as well. I also liked the second one.
It.
Yeah, it's really good. I also liked Into Darkness, but the widely held view is that it isn't very good. But I think people are a bit tainted by the whole Khan thing, that it was kept a secret.
Yeah,
that Khan.
I've seen a lot of commentators on the internet and things like that, and it's like typical man babies screaming because I don't know, because they're arseholes. I didn't particularly like it, but it did not warrant the amount of hatred it had. Bloody hell! To be anything, I probably would have been a bit upset if I'm a proper Star Trek fan because it was like, oh, what you've done there, you've messed with canon. But oh well, I'll get on with my life.
Well, because it's an
Move on.
alternate universe, it's sort of. But yeah, it was a bit. He should have just done something different.
He should have left that alone.
He should have.
There's so many other things he could have done. Yeah, he could have just left that
he
alone.
fucked about with it a bit. So we're around about a 50% success rate, maybe slightly under.
Right. In there, one of my personal favourites is the motion picture. So I loved that film. I loved that film when I went to the cinema. Such an unusual film for a kid to like because it's the most boring. Nothing really happens.
Yeah.
But when I saw it, I don't know. It was not the same feeling I had when I saw Star Wars: A New Hope at all in any way. But it was the fact that it seemed more melodic. I think Dane said it good earlier on. I think it was off air when he said it's a bit like 2001. And I suppose it is, but it's better in my view. It's better, and it just more of that really great space experience and
Yeah, that's a mystery to
and
it. It had a
yeah,
good
and not
mystery to it.
and then what blew my little mind when I was a little Stu was what? There's a satellite sent from Earth, and now it's turned into a sanctioned being, and it's the AI, and it's controlling everything. And oh my god,
that was pretty cool.
Yeah,
Actually,
and but like that film got fucking slated. Even to this day, a load of people don't like. Oh, it's boring. Oh, nothing happens. No, a lot does happen. It's just you got to. What you want to do, you want to work at it, and then you get reward from it. I think if you work with that film. And I saw it a few years ago, and I still think it hands on. Okay, the effects are a bit ropey now, but for its time, I think it was a great achievement. And that unfortunately, that film there was a direct answer to Star Wars, because that came out after, and they wanted some of that Star Wars money, wasn't it? No, it was. It was 79 that was released.
Yeah, but what they were doing was they were making another series of Star Trek.
Yeah, but no, that film
They
though,
were
because they
calling it-
saw the success of what Star Wars: New Hope made, and the ridiculous amount of money. Because remember, sci-fi cinemas at that point was shite.
Yeah, but
It didn't really make any money.
No,
Star Wars broke a mold, and Star Trek wanted some of that action. I don't blame it. If you're a businessman, of course you would do it, or woman.
But they
Yeah,
were
of course you'd
they were
want it.
making a Star Trek TV show, Star Trek 2 it was called. It was basically the crew returning, and it fell apart, so they turned it into a film. So they were already doing it.
All the stuff I've read about it hasn't said. Oh, sorry, all the stuff I've seen, it was more that was their direct argument.
Well, it's not very Star Warsy, is it?
No, it's not Star Wars at all. But it's like it was get Star Trek on the cinema. They didn't have one at the cinema. They wanted a sci-fi at the cinema. Paramount wanted sci-fi at the cinema. Well, that's ours. That they can have that one. We own that. That's going on.
Wow.
Anyway, I really liked that film a lot
Yeah,
more.
well, mate, if you want to stick it in there, Stu, but I was just going for stuff that's regarded as good, widely regarded.
But I know I'm the minority here on the motion picture.
Yeah.
Very much the minority here. I agree completely with Rafa Khan, Search for Spock and Voyage Home. I like all those three films. All the rest, couldn't be bothered. Take them or leave them. Honestly, I don't know whether I had a burnout of Star Trek or I couldn't be bothered, or it just never. It was always like, you're trying too hard. You can't be better than Rafa Khan. It's like one of those, you just can't. You're trying too hard. That's what I think in that one. So,
Well,
anyway, Duane, let's hear your side of the argument.
good. We're only going to talk about good films, Duane. Yeah.
So again,
So
we're talking
long.
we're talking subjective. So I think Stu kind of like, so he enjoyed the first the motion picture. So I think, but like you say, a lot of people sort of don't like that. So I think people take from things what they want to take. So I looked at the Rotten Tomatoes score for all the Star Wars movies, and I was a little shocked by some of them, I'll be honest. So I think we can all agree that the original Star Wars New Hope is good. I think I think Stu said it broke the mold for like what science fiction in the cinemas could be. Not kind of like this weird shit, but I think it kind of like created something new. So
well, everything Star Wars has come from that one film, isn't it? So yeah, that's if
not
it
just
did
everything,
that, it would-
not everything Star Wars. I think there's a lot of things that have kind of like come from
That was the beginning.
from that. So and then obviously I think we can all agree New Hope is good. It got 92% on Rotten Tomatoes. So I think universally, yep. So Empire Strikes Back, I think at the time a lot of people didn't like it, but I think in retrospect, I know.
Crazy fools.
I know, right?
Is that right?
Yeah, apparently it got quite bad reception from some fans.
Yeah, when you look at the box office on day one, it actually quite low, respectively to the others.
But
Still dwarfed what Star Trek did.
But anyway, so Empire Strikes Back, widely regarded by pretty much all Star Wars fans as the pinnacle of Star Wars movies. So I don't think there's any argument that it could be anything other than amazing. So that got a quite nice 94% on Rotten Tomatoes. So I think. Then we move on to Jedi. Now this one can be a little bit controversial. I like Jedi. I think there's some very nice set pieces. And I think the final battle, the final Death Star battle, is just
one of the most iconic.
Iconic. It's just fantastic.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
I mean, remove Ewoks and it's still a good movie. Let's face it, Ewoks suck, dude.
Yeah.
But it still managed to get a reasonably decent 82% on Rotten Tomatoes. So I think we can probably say good.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're in slightly dodgy territory.
That's the end of that then, isn't it?
We're in slightly dodgy territory. So, Phantom Menace.
God, where do we start?
So in preparation for this, I thought I'm gonna rewatch all the movies I'm not so familiar with.
No, that is dedication to the cause.
No, just wait. I got half an hour into the Phantom Menace and stopped. The last time I actually properly watched it was on plane when I went to Japan the first time because they had all the movies there. So I thought, I'll watch it. There are
Was it the trade disputes that did you?
No, it's fucking Jar Jar Binks, man.
Everything.
The trade disputes. Okay, I know everybody goes on about them, but they're part of like the bigger story of like what the Emperor's doing to try to break down the Republic at that point. So there's kind of there is a logic in there, but it's just not that apparent. So yeah, there are some really nice pieces in Phantom Menace. So people don't like it very much, but I really like the pod race scene. I think that's quite cool, and I think probably
Good toy advert.
It's a good toy advert.
Good for the game.
And a good game. We'll get to the games later. And I think a lot of people think that the three-way battle between Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan, and Darth Maul, the three-way lightsaber battle at the end of Phantom Menace, is probably one of the best lightsaber battles in the entire franchise. I would probably agree with that. Sadly, I can't.
It doesn't save the film.
It doesn't save the film, but my point is, it has its highlights. I can't rate it as a good movie because, first of all, it's not, and secondly, it only scored a quite pitiful 52% on Rotten Tomatoes.
That's more than I thought it would have got.
Well, that's more than I thought it would have got, but anyway, there you are. The next one is it Attack of the Clones? Again, not good.
It's slightly better.
It's slightly better. There's not a lot to say about it. It got 65%. I think I've only seen it like twice.
Okay. I'll give some big up to that film, I suppose. There's not. I do think it's as bad as Phantom Menace, but it's what you said. Phantom Menace had some set pieces which were good. That also had some set pieces which were good. So the bit where I forgot the name of the planet where they go down to where they actually make the clones. I thought when I saw that at the cinema, I thought that was incredible. That CGI. Now I can't remember. That time I saw it. Probably it looks terrible now, but at the time, I was, wow, that is amazing. That is really cool. So, but apart from that, it was a load of tosh.
So I think I've seen Attack of the Clones like maybe 2, maybe 3 times. I can't remember. Yeah. So we're getting on to Revenge of the Sith, which I honestly can't remember that well at all.
The end?
No. Yeah, exactly. This one's going to be a bit contentious because Rotten Tomatoes gives it 80.
What?
And I'm like, what?
I thought that one had quite a good reputation. The third.
Yeah, I think of the prequel trilogy, I think it's the one which has people have the best opinion of. I can't remember.
It's like being the tallest dwarf, isn't it?
Yeah, essentially.
Basically. Yeah.
So I don't know whether you want to consider that to be a good movie or not, just because it's the best of 3. I don't know.
I mean, even the duel between Obi and
Anakin.
Anakin at the end, it was just like, okay, you've got the higher ground. Great, okay. Yeah, it was a bit like, okay. I think I've got to admit, I think at that point when I saw that film, I just went, George, you've now got my childhood and you've stamped all over it now. And I'm going to just interject, if you don't mind, on this one. I've just got a little personal thing to say about it. The first 3 films are my films, that New Hope, Empire, and Jedi. The thing is, I have to give George a pass for Phantom Attack and Revenge just because he made them. They're not Disney. He was stupid enough to okay the script, pay for everything. It's his company, his money. He was still an independent filmmaker when he made all those films. They're all rubbish, but I've got to give him props. He's the one. Right, I can see here the production budget for those films were 115 million. That's a ridiculous amount of money. But that was his money. It was his own money. Then obviously when we get into the other films, which Duane will touch on, they're all like then Disney properties then. So that means then they're made by committee and, whatever. A bit like Star Trek films are made by committee. The J.J. Abrams, the time, are all committee-made films, so... it's just, so I have to give George a slight pass there because it was his money. At the end of the day, he's got his money. He flushed it down the toilet.
Can I say something about the prequel films in their defence? I'll defend them.
Sure.
So a bloke that I work with loves them. He loves those 3 films, but that's because he was a kid when he saw them.
And
so
I think actually you're absolutely
his film.
Hit it on the head there. I think it's a generational thing. So, and there are people who love the prequels who hate the sequel trilogy, who go, "Oh, it's just fucking terrible."
I'm going to counter argument that one. My kids, okay, this is probably tainted because I like the first 3 films, obviously. But I remember taking Luca to see Phantom Menace. Oh no, I'm not sorry, watch it on DVD because he really wanted to see it, and he was about 10, and he wanted to turn it off about halfway through. And that's the age range. When we were at the pod racing, right? Pod racing. Here we go. This is the exciting bit. All kids will love. I'm bored. Can I do something else?
But that wasn't when it first came out, then.
No, not when it first came out. No, I didn't. I wasn't playing with kids. I was
in kids' eyes, films age quick. My lad won't watch anything over a couple of years old because he just thinks it looks rubbish. That's just kids.
Okay, maybe. But I don't know. I think they're quite right. A New Hope is the most told story in any medium. Good vs evil, start, middle, and end. That's it. There's nothing complicated about that film. That film could be a one and dusted and walk away. Yeah, that's it. I mean, and it's very good in every way, but it's a very well trodden road on that one. Where Phantom Attack and Revenge, my God, they were just trying to be. I don't know what he was doing. He was trying to be too complicated, I think, about it all and just go. I think what it was, the other thing that I got to give him praise for, he didn't give a fuck what the fans thought. They were his films. In his eye, he probably absolutely loves these films and he couldn't give a toss what we think because he didn't make them for us. He made them for him. Disney make them for us, which is different.
They make them for money.
Yeah, where he made them. Okay, he wants to make a return, of course he does. And he's filthy rich, don't get me wrong there, but he didn't make those films for us. He didn't make it for Stu Manbaby. He made it for himself. He wanted to see that film.
Yeah.
And he made the film he wanted to see. Okay, so he didn't gel with me, but props to him for that one. He couldn't give a toss about what anybody else thought. Where if Disney made Phantom Menace, they wouldn't have made that film. I'll tell you that much.
No, I think you're probably quite right there. Anyway, so at the moment
we got three good, 3 bad then so far.
So it's 3 good, 2 bad, and 1 not great, but probably not.
Which is the
terrible,
third one.
Which is the third one.
Right.
Now we move on to. I'm going to do the Skywalker ones before I talk about anthology. So now we're talking about The Force Awakens. I actually really like Force Awakens. I mean, yes, it's a lot of people said it's a love letter to the original trilogy. There are a lot of callbacks and stuff, but Daisy Ridley's terrible acting aside, I actually think it's actually quite good. I actually quite liked it.
I think that film was required. I completely agree with what you're saying. That film was just for the fans.
Absolutely, it's complete fan service.
Do you know what it was? Do you know what it was like? When you're watching a TV show and you watch the next episode, and just before they have a recap.
Yeah,
previously on.
It kind of was. But they kind of introduced like some new characters, some of which were okay. I don't care what anybody says. I fucking love BB-8. I think he's great, which we'll talk about in a second with episode 8. Anyway, so I actually think Force Awakens, it holds up. I consider Force Awakens to be a good movie. I think the the majority of people agree, because on Rotten Tomatoes it scored a respectable 93, which is
Wow.
better than the original episode 4. Not as
Jesus.
good as Empire, but better than, I wouldn't say it was better than New Hope, but you know. Now we get on to the contentious one. Episode 8, The Last Jedi. Rian Johnson's offering. Can I just say, I actually really like Rian Johnson as a director. Looper, amazing. Knives Out, amazing.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, what was he doing? I have actually watched Last Jedi 3 times. The first time it was interesting. I actually went on a date with Lydia, our first date. I felt like walking out. There were points.
Or did she walk out because it was the first date? Did you went,
No.
what's he doing? Bring me to this shit.
We came out at the end and she was like, so, what did you think? And I was like, it was terrible. And she goes, good, because I thought it was terrible too.
It was shit.
But I watched it again. Well, it's really weird because a work friend actually saw it the night before, and I saw her that morning of the day I was going to see it, and she was like, "Oh my god, it's amazing! You're gonna love it. It's like the best Star Wars ever." And I was like, oh, "Okay, cool, that's fine. I'll go in sort of with like reasonable expectations." I hated it.
Yeah.
And it kind of went on. It was very, very long. I remember thinking, oh, God, just let it end. Let it end. There's, I think it's somebody called a Mary Poppins layer. The bit where she floats out and then floats back, and it's like, oh, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Oh, when she's just in space and just
she's in
lives.
space.
Yeah,
and it's like, what are you doing? Just don't do that.
And the slowest space chase in the world.
Yeah,
It's
it
like,
was just like.
And then why didn't they do this before? When didn't somebody ram somebody before in the light speed? And it's like, why?
That bit was good.
Well, the bit, that's the best bit of the movie. The effect there, but and the Luke Skywalker drinking the fucking blue milk. I was just like, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing?
I mean, at least Mark Hamill thought it was a fucking load of nonsense as well.
God,
give it. He was just there to collect the pay packet, which I don't blame him.
And then bloody Kylo Ren without his bloody shirt on. That was unnecessary. Daisy Ridley in the Infinity Mirror. Oh god, I hated it.
I've got to admit that I did kind of like, or not like, not like, as in you're not supposed to like the Kylo Ren character. I did think the mask was quite a cool mask, and his lightsaber.
Yeah, as villains go, it's pretty good.
You know, that kind of thing, and the way they changed his voice, you know, to make him sound more menacing and all that was quite cool. The Captain Phantasm or whatever the fucking. Oh my god, that was like. They tried to make that to be basically Boba Fett, and it was like, no, it's the worst character you could even think of. What are you doing?
No. So, and then when I finished, because my sister's as big a Star Wars fan as I am, and I texted her, I said, it's horrible. It's just the worst. I hated it so much. I just can't. And then she said, oh no, that's bad. So she went to see it, and then she texted and said, I thought it was really good. So it's,
oh wow,
it really is the most divisive of Star Wars films. But I've watched it twice since, and I have to say, there are things in it which I really like what he's done as like a storyteller. I think there are some really interesting things he attempted to do. So I've warmed to it. I still don't think it's amazing.
So it is quite easy to confuse two shit films with each other, though. I will, yeah.
But the way he dealt with BB-8 is like completely turned him into like this CGI comedy character. I mean, I know he's supposed to be a comedy character, but he kind of went too far. There was like little touches which I didn't like, but some of the story ideas I really, really liked. And it's kind of like, I think somebody made a cut of The Phantom Menace taking out Jar Jar Binks, where he wasn't essential to the story. And I think this is kind of like that. If you take out those bits that annoy you, I think there's there are bits in that which actually make it a really good movie.
Yeah, but unfortunately, though, Duane, that's the film they released.
They're in
Yeah,
there.
no, absolutely. I agree. So it's I mean, like this really weird sort of place with it. I like some of the bits. I hate some of the bits. So I'm kind of like, ugh. So I'm kind of both Star Wars fans. I love it and hate it.
Okay.
Do you want to know what Rotten Tomatoes gave it? You'll be shocked.
Yeah, go on.
You'll be shocked.
Not in the 90s.
91.
They must have been taking the piss. There was somebody in an office party getting drunk going, it would be really funny if we vote for this. Because it's a terrible film, but nobody will expect it, so we're going to vote for it. Oh, come on. Really?
So,
oh, well.
At the moment, we stand at 4 good movies, 2 which are kind of like, okay, I'm not sure, but they're kind of like both good and
I
bad.
think they're god awful, but
Yeah,
each
I
their
know.
own.
Rise of Skywalker. What can be said about Rise of Skywalker? I'm just going to say 52 on Rotten Tomatoes. It matched Phantom Menace. Is it as bad as Phantom Menace? Probably not, but it's shit.
That film is so written by a bloody committee. It's frightening.
Kathleen Kennedy has a lot to answer for. So did either of you ever, sort of kind of going off topic slightly, have you see any of the Colin Trevorrow treatment for what he had written for episode 9?
No.
Just look it up. It would have been a fantastic movie. It would have been awesome. It was kind of dark.
Yeah, but okay, with that thing as well, though, would it have been too expensive to make? Would it have been too
I don't
much
think
of
so.
a ask for
I don't think so.
a Disney audience?
I don't know, but it was good. It was good. It was like, there's lots going on in there. Rose had way more going on. Whether you like Rose or not, I don't know, but
Oh, I like Rose. I didn't actually mind.
I think somebody pointed out that Rose had fewer lines in Rise of Skywalker than her sister did, who died in the first act in Last Jedi. So you're like,
I suppose.
okay. Talk about sidelining a character.
Yeah.
So yeah, Rise of Skywalker. No, I don't think we can class it as good. It's not as terrible as people are saying, but I don't think it's.
It would. I mean, I'm not. Well, from the point of this, really, I'm not a massive Star Wars fan. But if I was, and you've got the last film of the last trilogy, so 9 films in, this is supposed to wrap the whole thing up. It's been going on since 1977. I'd be fucking furious, to be honest. I'd be absolutely furious that this was done to it.
The interesting thing, or what I read, now I hope I'm right on this, but when the Disney bought the whole franchise of George, he actually already had the scripts written for
he did.
And he actually presented them, and
they binned them.
And they said, yeah, we'll keep your consultant, and they didn't even call him back or anything. They just got the scripts and put it to one side.
Yeah, but he was talking a lot about. But brace yourself. I'm gonna say the M word. He was talking about midichlorians.
Yeah, to be fair, I didn't like. My episode 1, 2, and 3. I didn't like them, but they were his films. Now, would they have been? That's why I think Disney had to change them, because they were going, well, they're not making any money, these, and they're getting slated by everybody, so therefore we've got to do something with them. But it's a shame, really, because he's the one who wrote the whole vision. What you're saying there, Dave, is that he wrote everything.
So
it doesn't work.
Would the wrap
what
up
they've done there,
been
because they've shoehorned stuff in. Yeah.
Yeah, would the wrap up have been more satisfactory had they followed George's vision? I think that's
or it would have had a continuity, which would have made sense, instead of this random fucking storyline which is going on, which really just, I don't know. Man baby now.
Man baby. So, anyway, what are we at? We're at sort of 4 good, 2 questionable, 2 terrible, I think it is. So we move on to the anthology. We'll talk about Solo first. Solo, it was alright. I enjoyed it. It was just lots of action set pieces, not much of a story, an annoying droid character who I just, if she wasn't in it, that would have been much more enjoyable. It was okay. I've seen it twice.
That did quite well at the box office, though.
I think it did alright, and on Rotten Tomatoes it got a nice 70. So it I wouldn't class it as good, but it's not terrible. Now, my favourite of the Disney era movies, Rogue One. I don't care what anybody says. It's the best Disney era movie. it stands out against all of them. I think the only Star Wars movie in my mind that's better than it is Empire. It's my second favourite Star Wars movie.
It's a very good. I remember when I first saw that, I didn't like it. It's only after the second or third. I think because I was so
Jaded.
typical man baby, angry. Yeah,
Why
with
did
very
you
little turn
like
there.
it?
I don't know.
One
No,
is
because
solid.
again,
Was it good?
I think I just saw red because of what Disney were doing to the Star Wars, my beloved Star Wars, which is rubbish now. Doesn't mean anything, But and I just saw red. It's only when I saw it again later, I appreciated what it was. And there's a couple of moments were a bit naff in there, but it's like every film. There's always like crap scenes or whatever. But all in all, it's brilliant. And the ending on the beach is just.
And a lot of people go, people don't like
Gobsmacking me,
Star
mate.
Wars fans only like it because of the Darth Vader bit at the end. No, I loved it. But I loved it before. When I watched it, I was in love with it before that even happened. And you could take those like last few moments out with Darth Vader being fucking the most badass you've ever seen him, and it would still be a fucking amazing movie.
Yeah. The problem I had with the Darth Vader scenes though is it was out of context with A New Hope. He didn't do all that amazing stuff what he was doing at the end of Rogue One. Because to be fair, that's what he should be doing in The New Hope, but they didn't have the technology or anything to do with that point.
So he should have been.
So
doing
it made
that,
it look really silly. It just made it look.
But
But
Rogue One, in my view, is second best Star Wars movie. It stands out above New Hope and Jedi. All the prequel, all the sequel trilogies, in my mind. Weirdly, it only got 84 on Rotten Tomatoes. Obviously, they don't know what they're talking about. So, So what are we at? So that 5 or 5?
I think we're on
5 good movies.
So, Dave, can you give me just a quick remember of your what you perceive? Remember, it's very subjective.
Yeah. Hold on, where did I get to? Right, okay. So 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, and 1 J.J. Abrams one. And you've sort of stuck 3 in there, Stu, really.
Yeah, but that's a personal thing. I don't know.
I half had it in because it's part of that trilogy. Because the other 2 don't work without it.
Yeah, I think motion picture though I think that's just me personally. I think that was.
Yeah, you can't stick that in.
You can't.
I mean, I got the Rotten Tomatoes up because Duane had done a lot more homework than I had. And yeah, so motion picture was 44%.
Oh, that's stinging.
I know, and I think it's a great film.
It's not the
even
lowest
nowadays.
It's not the lowest. Oh my god!
Star Trek 5.
So even
the Star Trek 5 was 22%.
So even the 2 worst Star Wars movies rate higher than.
Yeah, but that's by Rotten Tomatoes. So come on. I'm actually going to. Sorry, Dave, but I'm going to have to give this one to Star Wars. I just am because. You are right. I'm going to go back to the cultural impact thing, but in movies, it's really only those 3 films which have done anything into the Star Trek universe. The rest have just been treading water. Now, Star Wars, yes, you are right. I'm going to now say Star Wars have been treading water, if not drowning. But because of the recent Rogue One, and so I didn't like Solo, but a lot of people did. So I'm going to put myself in the minority here. There's something there, and there's something they can build back on. And I'm hoping with Star Trek, they get the movie franchise back on track. They can get the rights back to actually bloody make another film. Because I know Star Trek fans are dying for another film. They just want it, and but the people in power are going, no, yeah, it's all about contracts and stuff. So in a way, I want them to build it, but I don't want JJ to do it at all. I want him to stay away from Star Wars as well. If he could just keep him away from all that stuff, really. He's proven that he's not the best at it, and he's given it a good go, bless him. But time for a step away and let somebody else have a go.
Stu, but I think you're the judge, so I must respect your decision.
Yeah. So okay. So I am going to give that one to Star Wars.
You're wrong, but that's fine. That's absolutely fine.
So what we're going to do, we're going to take a little short break, and we'll be back in a moment. And welcome back. So we're at number 6, and we seem to be on quite a long time now. But there's a lot to talk about. Best villain. Duane, what you got for me?
I think it's got to be Darth Vader. I think he tops all the best movie villains of all time, like polls all the time. I think just for coolness, I think I'm going to mention Darth Maul. I think Darth Maul looked pretty cool. Shame he was in a shit movie. But yeah, Darth Vader, all the way. You can't beat Darth Vader. There is nothing Dave can lay at my feet which will trump Darth Vader as a classic movie villain. Sorry. Do your best.
You're just going to do the one. You're just going. I'm going to give you one.
That's all. It's all I need.
Wow.
It's all I need.
Now that's a gauntlet, Dave. All right then, Dave. What you got?
Need.
Well.
Oh, Spock with a beard. Ooh, he's scary. Carry on.
Well, if we're doing best villain, we're doing best villain, or are we doing best villains? And as Duane just said, that's it. And do I get to list the gamut of Star Trek villains, or is it against?
I was giving
best
Duane
villain?
the option to list more villains, and he went no.
I gave an honorary mention to Darth Maul, but
Didn't even mention Boba Fett. I mean, come on.
So
yeah, Boba Fett's awesome, but he's kind of like an anti-hero, so Darth Vader's villain. Sorry,
Oh, come on,
carry
Boba
on.
Fett's
Yeah.
a villain.
No, he's
Right.
a villain.
Okay, I'll save it until, because we've got the representation of other species later on, in the running order, and I'll save most of it for that, because I'm going to lose this anyway, because Stu's going to go, oh yeah, Darth Vader.
I'm not. Hang on, you're going to convince me.
Who have you got? What have you got?
Listen, I have been on your side on any of these points, mate. So you can't.
He's
say I
been
haven't.
as unbiased as we could have hoped for, to be honest. I have to say, he could have just
He
gone,
needs to
"Next
sort his
Star
shit.
Wars,
He
next
needs to sort
Star
his
Wars."
shit out on that cultural impact one, and then fair enough. But he's still on the fence on that, and he needs to get off. the
Yeah, but
fence.
maybe I'm building suspense in this drivel what we're recording.
Right, okay. If we're going 1-on-1, I'm fighting a bit of a losing battle, but I'll go for it anyway. The titular villain from Star Trek 2, Khan Noonien
Khan.
Singh.
God.
Well, there we go, Stu. There we go. Basically, he's a genetically augmented human. He's got superior intellect, as he tells us about 6 times in the film. Actually, he keeps going on about his how fucking superior his intellect is. He's got like superhuman strength, but he is deeply, deeply flawed, and that's what makes him so interesting. So he's driven by revenge and just anger. He's just got this anger in him against Kirk, because Kirk marooned him on SETI Alpha 5 back in... Well, he was in the original series. So that's when he first made an appearance in the episode Space Seed.
I always thought that was awesome. That was they bought a series,
Oh,
TV
yeah, and he's come
episode.
back now.
They brought it
He's
to a
come
film.
back.
Yeah.
He's been portrayed by Ricardo Montalban, who he was in that, who played him in The Wrath of Khan and Space Seed, and Benedict Cumberbatch. So, admittedly, that is only 2 blokes, but they've got the syllables between them for about 5 blokes.
That wasn't Khan.
Well-
Come on, stop kidding yourself.
By name, it was. In name, it was.
Yeah, by
So
name.
anyway,
that was it.
let's go back to The Wrath of Khan then. So he's just got this anger in him and this hatred of Khan, and he is so much more expressive than Darth Vader, who to be honest, just what does he do? He breathes heavily, brilliant, and says, "I'm your father." What? And he turns out he's the bloke's dad. Come on.
Oh,
How
David.
contrived?
We'll
How
talk about that.
contrived is that?
No, it wasn't. So we'll talk about this in iconic moments, but it wasn't.
That wasn't even a thing until fucking they didn't even know that when they were making Star Wars. And that's what I read
Anyway,
there's a bit where his ship. I can't think of what ship he's in now. Khan. He's hijacked a Federation ship. He's in this Mutara Nebula, which is about to get blown to shit. His ship is just falling apart around him. He's chased Kirk into this nebula. He didn't need to do it. He'd already won, as his crewmate reminds him. He already won. But he's just got so much hatred in him for Kirk, and his ship's fucking falling apart. He's about to die, and he's just spitting this venomous shit at Kirk. It's amazing piece of acting by old Ricardo. Fair play, Ricardo. he's just got a lot of layers to him, more than Darth Vader, I think. Darth Vader is obviously, he is, as Duane has pointed out, he is the most famous villain of all time. But does that make him the best? No. But anyway, Stu, over to you. Say Darth Vader, let's get on with it.
Oh, come on, Dave. I agree with everything you're saying, but he's not more iconic than Darth Vader.
I didn't say he
sorry.
was.
He just isn't.
But he's better. What's
He's
the
not better.
best
No, he's
villain?
not better.
I've got written here, best villain. Not most famous villain.
But
best villain.
he's the most famous because he is the best.
See, it was me. I would have picked Boba Fett myself, but it's Dwayne's call. It's not my argument to make because he's a villain and he's been in the film the least, really, and he's got such an iconic status within, all the films, really, and that. But it's not. Darth's just not famous, because he's been around for, everybody knows who he is. He's a troubled sort of Jedi. When that scene at the end of that fight, even now I get tingles under my back when Luke is really going for it, and he's saying, "Going, oh crap, sorry." Basically he's saying, "I'm sorry, son. I messed up. I'm sorry." It's just there's loads of depth there. You just see, he's meant to be this. He's meant to be this one tone character. That's what he's meant to be. He's meant to just deliver the orders and of the Emperor and take over that's his character. But when you see behind the curtain, forget the prequel films. When you see behind the curtain in Jedi of the person, on the shuttle bay when he's got his helmet off and Luke's there going, "Oh crap!" it's amazing. So I think that your argument with Khan is very good, but unfortunately, it is only just a very little slither of. And I've got to admit, I didn't even think of Khan until you even mentioned it.
That's who I would.
And I thought you would have said something like the Borg Collective myself. That's what I thought you would have said.
It's singular, isn't it? It's singular.
No. The Borg is singular. It's a collective. They are one organism that works together as a one thing. You could have just said the Borg. I
will talk about the Borg later, but yeah.
No, right, okay. I don't think they are as big as Darth Vader, but I think it's bigger than Khan. But that's your call. That was your argument. That's fine as that. So I am going to have to give this one to Star Wars. I'm afraid. Sorry. I can't.
Yeah,
I can't.
That's fair enough.
If your only argument was Khan, if you got anything else, you can sort of trawl up.
Well, no. And to be honest, I agree with you.
Okay.
I do.
Okay,
It's hard to argue against Darth Vader, isn't it? How can you really?
Yeah, I mean, Khan is a good choice though, man. I mean, I'd love Khan.
It's probably who I would have gone for. Had I been arguing the other side, I would have gone Khan.
Right then, so I think we've done the best villains, but it's really best villain. So the next section will be best hero. So, Dave, let's go with you because I think we went with Duane first time. Last one. Best hero.
Fucking hell, how do you pick? How do you pick from all of just the captain? List the captains in Star Trek. Oh my god, Picard. To be honest, I almost went for him because what a bloke Picard is, and I might be kicking myself for not going for him, but he's just an amazing icon, really. British bloke given the job of being bloody captain of the Enterprise, and he just. Oh, Patrick Stewart just pulls it off. I just think he's fantastic. I didn't go for him anyway.
Yeah.
Janeway, marooned bloody 70 light years from Earth with her crew. Gets them home. Fantastic. Data is alright, shit film Nemesis, but his sacrifice in Nemesis, and just what a character he was. But it's got to be James Tiberius Kirk. It's got to be.
I think it has to be, doesn't it, for a Star Trek fan? I mean, he's even the reboot films have tried to recreate Kirk with that. What's his actor's name?
Chris Pine.
When he plays Kirk.
Shatner.
Yeah. He's just like, well, he looks like William Shatner, so therefore,
it's an impression, but he's basically doing an impression anyway.
Yeah, and he's it's like I agree with that one.
But he's just the all-American hero, only Kirk. He's a leader. He's a fighter. He's a top shagger. Absolutely top shagger. He's just
I don't see how that's relevant, but okay.
He's just had sex with a lot of alien women, and that's in some respects is to be applauded.
I wouldn't.
Well, I
You wouldn't or you couldn't? Which one is it?
I wouldn't applaud him, is what I'm saying.
Oh, right, okay.
But what a bloke! I think if you think in Star Trek, he's got to be the guy, for better or worse. And it was a close run thing with Picard, but I think you've got to give it to Kirk.
Right, okay. And you're just going for the one, yeah? Not going for a collection of heroes, or?
Well, no, it's just best hero, isn't it? So it's got,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So, Duane, what you got?
Oh, so this is kind of a bit more tricky, I think. So you've got, I think, just looking at original trilogies. I think if you're looking at prequel trilogy, I don't think there's anybody who stands out particularly. Anakin was kind of whiny and annoying. And sequel trilogy, I don't think anybody particularly stood out either. But I think if you're looking at original trilogy, you've got the four. So you got Luke, Han, Leia, and Chewbacca. So I think any of those on their own could stand out. But I think that the two which would probably be the most would probably be Luke or Han. And I'd probably have to go with Han Solo. I think because he's quite roguish. It kind of has that sort of same thing going on that Kirk has going on, that kind of ladies' man, but I don't think he was kind of prolific shagger like Kirk was.
Let me just go back to Dave here. Sorry. Is Kirk because it's played by William Shatner? And the way the William Shatner delivered. Do you think another... It's hard because there's never been another Kirk not played by William Shatner, apart from the reboot, and he was just modelled off William Shatner. But do you think another actor could play Kirk in that sense? Do you know of? It will be relevant in a sec, Duane. So.
Well, back in...
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Back in the day, I don't know. How do you... They're so linked, aren't they? Captain Kirk, William Shatner. I don't know how you can separate.
Because where I'm leading with this one, because like obviously Harrison Ford plays Han Solo, and he is Han Solo. Nobody else, even the Solo film, I went, nah. I can't.
He did an okay job, but
I don't think he did an okay job. He wasn't Harrison Ford.
But that's the problem. He wasn't Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
So he was always fighting that battle. I think he did an okay job, but
but because like Harrison Ford as well. So obviously, Indiana Jones was way after Star Wars, of course, or around making it at the same time as making obviously Star Wars because of Jedi and that. But he was the Harrison Ford of that age, wasn't he? He's that iconic. He's that iconic actor of that bit. Now he's just an old man, really. He's just desperately trying to hold on to something, I don't know. But back then he was that horror. Now, William Shatner. Oh, hang on. Am I getting confused here? Are we talking about the heroes of the actual fictional thing, or are we actually talking about the actors what play them? I think I'm getting too bogged.
The fictional.
Yeah, I'm getting bogged down, aren't I, with the actual actors here?
Yes,
I shouldn't. I've got to step away, Stu. Step away. Right. Okay. Sorry, I did cut you off on your arguments with.
So just basically,
Han Solo. Sorry.
Han Solo. He's kind of like that roguish, and he had a great arc of kind of like not caring about anything, about the money, and then kind of like turning around to be this great rebel leader. Yeah, it's Han Solo all the way for me. I mean, I know Luke's character arc was pretty good, like farm boy to rebirth of Jedi, but Han Solo.
This one is a tough one for me.
I actually agree. I agree.
This I'm trying to be fair, and it's hard for me to be fair because I love Han Solo and I love Harrison Ford, and I know I should get the actor involved in this because it should keep that way. But
a starship captain is fuck me, what a job to have that is.
but I would have picked Picard over Kirk.
Why the nearly did?
I really would have. No, but is it because I know you did? And because because it's my captain? Is that why? Because Picard is my captain, not Kirk. Kirk is definitely not my captain.
Yeah, there's probably an element of that. My first experience of Star Trek was the '60s stuff.
See, I'm trying to be fair here, and it feels like if I pick Solo, it's going to be a personal biased. And then, but if I feel like I'm picking Star Trek, I feel like because
You don't want to be seen to be being biased.
Well, yeah.
Well, Stu, you're the judge, mate. You've got to pick, and then whatever your decision is, we'll pick.
I do think Han Solo is the more charismatic hero. He's a rogue. Come on, the line to Leia when he's being carbonated, and she goes, "I love you." He goes,
Oh,
I know. Oh, come on, shivers down my spine right now. You know what did Kirk have really? He went, oh yeah, there's another blue lady. I've had her.
Oh,
I've had that one.
There was much more. There was much more to that. You're just thinking about original series. You've got to think about the films as well.
Yeah, I'm thinking about the films. Unfortunately, though, I do. Again, I'm mixing the actor with the character, but unfortunately, they are so intertwined.
Star Trek 2, the Khan bit. You said it yourself. Khan.
Oh, I can't.
Mate.
Yeah, but that was funny.
No, it wasn't.
No, that's funny. That's not. Oh, come on. That is funny. It's not meant to be funny. It's the worst bit of acting in the world. No, it's as bad as the acting in Star Wars Episode 3, where Vader's in the chamber, and when he finds that panel at the end, no, it's as bad as that.
when he's giving Spock's the eulogy at Spock's funeral, and he's mate.
He
takes the tough decision to blow up the Enterprise.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That is good, but unfortunately, it is going to be Han Solo. Sorry, and I'm sorry if this comes down to it. It's hard. That was really hard because I understand where Dave's coming from on the Kirk front here. So, anyway, let's move swiftly on. I think Dave's got a very good argument here, but let's see what it is.
I think this could go
Section 8
direction.
or Argument 8, Point 8, Message.
Wow. Do we even need to do this one?
Well, I'm going to quickly scoot back to cultural impact, if you don't mind, because I think it's about time I got off that fence and I answered this question.
Yeah.
I am going to have to give it to Star Trek. I mean,
come on, Stu.
He's right with the first open gay kiss in the 60s and black actors on TV, prime time TV.
It wasn't gay. It's interracial.
Oh, interracial. Sorry. And Star Trek always had a message, and I got to admit, even as a child, it always had a message of we are all working together as one, and we don't care what you are. Whether they've actually thought that in reality, the actual people who made it is a different thing. But, when I was a kid, because
that's why Roddenberry invented it.
So,
for that was the reason.
So I am now going to give you a point for that one. I'm just marking it on the computer. Bloop, 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 bloop. And that is now recorded for posterity. So now, I'm off the fence now, so we'll now go back to the message. And I'm going to give this one over to Duane first.
It's a very simple message. It's going to be quite quick, so it's good triumphs over evil, and it's about the redemption of a flawed character. So it's about the redemption of Anakin Skywalker. So yeah, that's basically what it is, in a kind of roundabout way. Perseverance of good will triumph.
Okay. Is that it? Any more?
That's pretty much it in a nutshell.
Okay. So it's like is it Fast and Furious? It's all about family.
I have never seen a Fast and Furious movie, and
it's all about the family, mate.
And
it's all about family.
And I never want to.
Family.
I never want to.
Go on then, Dave. What you got?
To be honest, I'll sort of echo what I said earlier, really, because the two kind of go hand in hand about the people working together, and people from all backgrounds have got everyone's equal, working together on problems. But the main message of it is that it's an optimistic view of the future, and that's always been what Star Trek is about. It's not a dystopian future where it's not fucking Blade Runner. It's not this, that, and the other, where the world's fucked, and everybody's killing each other and all the rest of it. It's always been hope for the future and optimism that actually we are going to, whatever's going on at the minute, in the future, that all gets overcome, and everybody works together for the betterment of everyone else. That's the pure message at the start of it. That's what he had in his head.
It's actually, joking aside, it's actually a very honourable message, and actually, it's like I said before, I think it's one I can get behind. But will it happen? Given the current situation in the world, with people
are
and
selfish.
how they treat each other.
Well, we've got a couple of hundred years to find out, really, haven't we?
I don't see it changing. I don't see it changing.
But the message is good, and I'd rather have
the
a
message is
message
good.
like that out there than not out there. You know what I mean? So fancy if that message never existed, and you know, some people, you know, like racism and that is taught. It's not, it doesn't just, you're born with it. You are taught how to be a racist, you know, things like that. And as much as there's messages like this out there, which are saying, look, everybody can live together and be one and work to a common goal. That sounds a bit like the Communist Party manifest there, but
Isn't
it's
the
like,
Federation a little communistic?
well, a little bit. But you know what always confused me about the Federation? It's like, there's no money. And I was thinking, how can there not be any commerce? How do they afford the ships?
Communism.
How do they trade with other, like the Romulans, who are a trading federation or trading force, and how do they not spend money? I don't
Gold press Latinum, which they introduced in Deep Space Nine. Gold press Latinum.
Okay, so anyway, I am going to give the message to Star Trek because it is very wholesome. I mean, there is a message in Star Wars, but it's
simplistic.
It's more about family than about anybody else. So that's section 8 done and dusted. Should we have a score recap?
Yes, please.
Yes, please. Let's see where we are.
4 points to Star Trek and 4 points to Star Wars.
Tight.
It's all good here.
We're tied.
Now though, this is when the good shit happens. Now I'm going to mark this maybe a certificate 18 part of the podcast. I don't know, but we're all inclusive, so it's sexist chicks and dudes.
Yeah.
Okay. So at least I'd want at least a chick and a dude from each of you. Okay. No, I don't want you to favour on one side. You have to do both. So
Right.
Dave, you go first.
Yeah, okay. I mean, we have been quite serious so far. I think, or we're sort of known for having a bit of fun and all the rest of it. We have actually been semi-serious, so we don't really have to be serious all the way through, which is kind of why this is in there, really, just for a bit of levity. That said, the thing about the 60s, and I've read the book about how they made the TV show in the 60s. There's a line in the book that says they had skimpy costumes because flesh was cheap to use and easy to look at. So there was deliberately a skimpiness of costumes for various reasons, budgetary and viewer grabbing, I suppose. So that said, Yvonne Craig, who played Batgirl in the Batman series, I think it was her. I might not have been actually thinking about it, but there's a character in the original series. I don't even know her name, the character's name. She was a Orion slave girl, and she was green. And I love that.
That's quite a. Oh, was that in the sorry, I was doing something else at the time. I should have been listening properly. Was it in the motion picture? Sorry, the reboot.
No. Oh, there was an Orion girl. Yeah.
Yeah, I think there was a callback to that.
Yeah,
wasn't there,
she wasn't.
Yeah.
She wasn't an Orion slave girl anymore because it's not the 60s anymore. You can't.
You don't do that.
You can't do stuff like that now.
Even Disney have now not called Slave 1 anymore.
Oh,
Anyway.
Don't get me started on that one.
We'll move on. Sorry,
Oh my
Dave.
God.
Sorry.
Yes. So for that, sexiest chick, I don't even know her name, but I am going for. Oh, am I though?
You don't even know her name.
That's
Oh my God,
what kind of a man is he?
Oh, you're so manly.
Do you know what? Actually, no.
Didn't even
I've
know
changed
her
my mind
name.
now. I've changed my mind because she's
Like a
just
typical man.
sprung into my head. 7 of 9.
That's who I thought you were going to go for.
Oh, no,
How could I
yes.
have forgotten about her?
Yes. 7 of 9. Yeah.
I'm not sure
Yep.
I need to say anything else.
Well done. Okay, what about you, dude?
Right, I'm. Who am I gonna go for? I haven't thought of a bloke shoe, to be honest.
You could have Riker.
Let me have
but
let me have
is
a
he?
quick. Let me have
Is
a
he?
quick think. I'm just gonna quickly list in my head all the Star Trek men, and then think about which one.
Okay, well, while you're doing that then, Duane, give me your sexiest chick.
Princess
Well-
Leia in the gold bikini in Return of the
Oh,
Jedi.
There we
Boom.
go. Yeah, boom, done. Right, Dave, you've had your time. What you got?
What's Dwayne's man? What's Dwayne's man he's got then? What's your man doing?
Oh, I'm gonna have to. I'm just whilst you're doing that, I will. In that case, I will just trundle out. I'm gonna play him again, Han Solo.
He's right. Not Luke. He was a scrawny little fuck.
Yeah,
No.
No, Han Solo.
Most definitely,
Han
it
Solo.
most definitely Han. So, okay, so they are two solid,
Right.
solid
Okay,
choices.
I'm getting in there then with Data.
Fucking Data.
Data.
What?
Data.
No, I'll tell you what.
Did you want to lose this one on
I'll
purpose?
tell you,
You
no,
wanna
hang
lose this
on.
one
I'll tell you
purpose?
why.
Data.
I'll tell you why now, shall I?
Oh, that episode
that
where
episode.
he gets it on with the security guard.
Tasha
What's
Yar.
her name? Yeah, that's
Yeah, and he says he's fully functional, right? In that respect, and the amount of knowledge he's got into him, his programming on Nookie is an
Oh, so he's a bit like the Jude Law character in AI.
exactly like that, but better because he's like yellow.
okay. So,
Because he's yellow.
what about the staples of next gen? You know, like Troy and Beverly Crusher and.
Well, it's an embarrassment of riches, isn't it? Really.
That's true.
It's an
Sport for
embarrassment.
choice in that sweet shop.
There's fucking loads of them.
Yeah.
They're everywhere you look. There's one. You think, hang on, oh, they're over there. Oh, look at him. Yeah, there's loads of them. But if I had to pick two, 7 of 9, because of
And
the
Worf.
catsuit, Worf.
Worf.
I'll tell you what, though, Worf, fucking, he wouldn't take any prisoners, would he? Worf.
Yeah, come on. He's a
He
sensitive
would
lover.
He would not
Come on.
mess about. And Data, because he's got that much sexual programming in him, he would be
Dave.
guaranteed a good time.
You know what? Your 7 and 9 was strong, and that was strong enough to beat Leia.
Potentially
punch.
beat Leia.
But I'm sorry, you can't have Data. That's just no. I'm not. No, you've lost that one. Sorry, they've already marked it. It's gone.
Well, what could
Moving
I have
on.
said then, Stu, to get the point?
What do you mean? What
to
could
get
you
the
have
point
said?
there?
Riker, Picard. Picard is a very fit man. Come on. Not now Picard. Obviously, early next gen
It's a bit
Picard.
ageist, but fine.
Oh, I've got a load of friends who fancy Picard. They're definitely, he's a good-looking guy.
Yeah,
Go for that
but
bald
Data's
captain.
a better lover.
No, he's not, because he doesn't know about love.
He knows
But
everything
it's not
about.
about that. It's we're talking just like pure animal magnetism here, I think. Rather.
Yeah,
than...
I can't accept Data. I can, but weirdly, I can accept Son of 9, who is also Porg. So where's my argument going with that one?
Yeah, but she's only part Borg now, mate.
Yeah, that's true, and
She's got
she's
that
amazing.
balance.
Even when she pops up in Discovery, it's just like, oh yeah.
Discovery,
Yeah.
Picard, you mean?
Oh, Picard. Sorry, yeah. Sorry. It's like, oh yeah. I'm on board. Right. Okay. So here's a bit of an excitement. So I've got an agenda in front of me, listeners, and the next two sections are called wildcards, and I have no idea what these boys are going to be talking about. So the current scores is Star Wars is winning by 1 point. So I assume that wild card is this right, Dwayne? So you're going to present your wild card, and then I'm going to say whether yes, and then Dave's going to wild card.
No. So
Or, I
basically,
don't know how it
present my
works,
wild
sorry.
card, and then Dave will have to counter argue on the spot.
Oh, so he doesn't
don't
know
know, I
either,
don't know.
right? Okay,
He doesn't know what
gotcha.
mine is. I don't know what his is. We've got one each.
Okay, cool.
So
Okay.
he's going to have to counter what I'm proposing.
Sure.
Then I will have to counter what he proposes.
Okay.
It's going to be a fun game.
Okay, then. So we're going to say wild card 1, and we'll start with Dave on this one, I think. Dave.
Right, my wild card is themes and depth of story. So I'll give you a couple of examples on the Star Trek side of things. So I'm just going to list, out of all of Star Trek, I've got there's 3 episodes I'm going to list, and I'll just sort of tell you a bit about each episode, because I don't think Star Wars comes anywhere near Star Trek for this kind of stuff. So, held up as probably the best episode of The Next Generation is an episode called The Inner Light, which is the one where Picard gets zapped by a space probe, and he falls unconscious on the deck of the Enterprise for a couple of hours, and he ends up in that time living an entire life on a planet, and he's married to a woman, he has kids, he has grandkids, the planet is dying. He learns to play the Resican flute, which is a little flute thing. He lives a lifetime basically in that period of time. But just the themes in that about the life that he could have lived and chose not to. He's trying to tell them, he discovers the planet's doomed because he's a scientist. He tries to convince the people in charge, the people in power, that they've got to do something, that they've got to act. And the act is they send a probe up into space, and he sees it being launched, and that probe he sees being launched is the probe that kind of beams the thing into him when it comes across the Enterprise. And then he suddenly wakes up and he's like, shit, I've lived a whole life and I'm back here. He'd forgotten about the Enterprise because it had been that long, it had been years. But within this probe is this flute that he'd learnt to play. And the episode ends with him just sat in his quarters quietly playing that flute. Oh, fuck me. It's amazing. Right, that's number 1. Number 2 is an episode called Drumhead, or The Drumhead. Again, it's a Next Generation episode. It's all around paranoia and suspicion and people being wrongly accused. Again, real deep themes.
Is this a single? I can't remember that one. Is it a single episode or is it an arc?
It's a single episode.
It is a single episode.
Yeah, but most of the Next Generation stuff is single, because that's how TV work. We've only got episodic stuff now because of streaming and the ability to save.
No, we had story arcs with Next Gen, with Q, and all that stuff.
Well, maybe.
Yeah, but they generally fit in they fit in around the episode per week style.
Yeah, the thing with that sort of telly back then, you could, if you missed an episode, it didn't matter. If you missed an episode of something now, you fucked, didn't you, really? But you can't miss an episode now because it's there. Everything's there all the time when we want it. It's different times when it. Then the third thing is an episode called Measure of a Man. That's where a scientist wants to deconstruct data, because data's the only one of his kind. He wants to deconstruct him, rip him apart so we can see how he works and build more datas. He wants an army of datas so they can do dangerous things.
That's a bit like the Picard storyline, is it? Or is it based loosely on that?
Well, it's before that, so I don't know.
Yeah, I know it's before that, but I wonder if they based the Picard storyline on that, because obviously the picture, and then he went back to where Data was, and they said they're not allowed to make any more androids like Data because he was too cool.
Yeah,
he was good at sex, and we can't have that. We can't have that android running around who's good at sex. Oh my god! No.
So there's a trial. There's a trial on the Enterprise. Picard is defending Data. Riker has been chosen to act for the scientist guy. So basically, they've got to prove, or Riker's got to prove, that Data is not a person. He's not a sentient person. That he's property. So then the scientist, if they can prove he's property, the scientist guy can do what he wants with him. If Picard can prove that Data isn't property, then Data gets to live.
So they basically remade the idea of short circuit in an episode of Star Trek Next Generation then.
Without Steve Guttenberg. Yeah.
without seeing, which is probably a good thing.
Actually, to be fair, it was was Star Trek out before Short Circuit?
No, Short Circuit was 80s.
Well, Star
Oh,
Trek,
really?
Star Trek was 80s.
Yeah,
Next
Star
Generation
Trek
was
80s.
as well, wasn't it?
Late
End of.
80s though, wasn't it?
Yeah, late 80s.
Late 80s, 90s.
That's right. That's 3 examples of just the depth of storytelling and just the character development that you get with Star Trek that Star Wars cannot
Well,
touch.
I mean, yes. I mean, I could probably give you that one because obviously you've got like we discussed earlier, you've got a wealth of quantity of stuff, so you can sort of cherry pick the bits and pieces which suit your thing. So yeah. So what's your wild card thing? It's like themes
In depth of story. So my criticism of Star Wars
Depth
is
of story.
it's too fluffy.
It's quite superficial. So obviously because I've been trade disputes. I think George Lucas tried to make it deep in the
And it doesn't work, does it? That's not what Star Wars
it didn't
is.
really work. But that's the thing. That's not what Star Wars is. And I think because you're delivering these shorter story like bundles, like in movies, rather than drawn out series, I think it's difficult to kind of get those depth of things. And like you were talking about, like
Those are single episodes. They're 45 minutes long.
Yeah, no, I know, but you've got characters that you can do that with, and because you've got time to fill it, they sound like they could be like filler, like you've got lots of filler episodes, and those are the ones that stand out. Just saying. But yeah, I'm not sure where Star Wars can kind of like go that deep. I mean, I think like the relationship between the Mandalorian and Baby Yoda was quite good. Like as kind of like a gradual sort of like story arc depth thing there. But I don't think I can say like come up with anything which you've done there with your Short Circuit analogy.
Star Trek also, again, you throw enough stuff at a wall, something will stick. There's so many episodes,
which is normally how J.J. Abrams works,
and they are good. I'm good. By the way, I'm going to give you this one, Dave. You all got the point for this one.
Yeah, I think it has.
But only because the amount of stories you can tell in the TV episodes, whether even Discovery. Discovery's been hit and miss with me, I've got to say. I've enjoyed some of it, and I just think some of it's been awful, but I like the idea there's a big story arc, and I like that involvement in there, so that kind of thing. But there's no new message in there to what's already been delivered before. Nothing new in that series. I think just the amount of content as in this TV series you can do. But unfortunately, they must have... Was it a special episodes where it was over 2 episodes, or was it all contained in 40
Those 3
minutes?
are all within 45 minutes.
Oh, it's a shame. Because I like the longer one. I like it when they did 2-parters. They were nice. They got more got more meat on that bone.
On a
so
cliffhanger and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I just think Star Trek does that stuff. And that's what I love about it so much.
I'd give it that.
That's what it does.
Right. So, Duane, Wildcard 2. What is it?
Lego.
Merchandising.
Hey, good one.
I don't think Star Wars could be beaten by any franchise, actually, on merchandising. I think probably the only thing that comes close now is probably Harry Potter, but I don't think that even gets anywhere near close. So yeah,
I'm quite surprised that's making a resurgence myself now. Yeah, but
well, we don't go into that particular minefield. No. So yeah, just generally merchandising. I think Star Wars has had so much merchandising pretty much since it started way back in the late 70s. It's just so much. I mean, yeah, you do get Star Trek stuff. I'm not saying you don't. You get like stuff, but the breadth of stuff that you can get, which is how George Lucas made his money.
If anything, they've now saturated the market.
It's probably too much. It's probably too much,
but it was the one where this classic story of Kenner when Star Wars come out, they George Lucas signed a deal with them just to make them. They couldn't then get the stuff quick enough out the door, and then they had to have special pre-order, pre-sale stuff and all that, and it was crazy. And then the amount of T-shirts and all that kind of thing, and you do get the Star Trek stuff. I remember when I was a kid as well, Star Trek. Remember when ET came out, and remember the biscuits they used to sell? They were like green and orange, and they were like bonbons, but like biscuits. And anyway, but also they did Star Trek cereal, and you could cut out the back and make a warbird and stuff like that. But that was my only merchandise avenue for Star Trek at that point. Where Star Wars, it was just Toys R Us. That's it. They've got the whole section. We don't talk about how now the toys shops have got Star Wars selected because it's the worst selection in the world. But in the heyday, in A New Hope, Jedi, and New Hope, Empire, and Jedi, that they were just aisles and aisles of Star Wars merchandise. And you did get the few ones, but it'd be like just the odd shelf which would have Star Trek on, which is saying because I was a Star Trek fan as well, so I would have liked that kind of thing. But I don't know, Dave, can you counter argument this? This is a tough one for you,
right? All I can counter with is doesn't work for a podcast, but visually I can show you guys now.
I don't want to see you cock
Look
again.
at the size of that. Right, so for the benefit of the listeners, I am holding up an Enterprise E, NCC 1701E.
That's also a clock.
Which is a clock.
So it's
Yes.
stylish and
So
functional.
when I said I was going to get my clock out, you obviously misheard me. Compared to the size of this.
Oh, come on.
Look
That's
how
your
much
argument.
bigger that is than that.
Oh, well, I'll post that picture, but I'm sorry.
Clutching at straws.
Jesus Christ, Dave. I mean, come on.
Have you seen the Ultimate Collector Series Millennium Falcon? It's huge. It's like a metre long.
All I can
It's
say,
massive.
I'll concede the point, and I will say, Duane, congratulations for your thing having the most toys. Well done.
Yep, I'll take it. I'll take it.
Anyway, for the listeners' benefit, what Dave showed us was the Lego Millennium Falcon, what we had to build for
Thank
Shit
you,
and Brick
Duane, anyway, by
competition,
the way.
which is the teeniest of tiniest of Legos, where me and Duane, between us, we've got a load of Star Wars. Like I've only got my Lego collection is only Star Wars,
Same.
and
It's only Star Wars.
and that's it really. And actually, all my memorabilia from I don't have any Star Trek, which is a shame because really, I think I'd like an Enterprise. It'd be quite a nice little model of it, but it's all Star Wars. it's all
Hey!
yeah. David's just showing us a picture of Duane dressed up in his superhero outfit and smashing it with the Enterprise. So, but that one is a landslide Star Wars victory. I'm afraid.
Yeah, most toys. Well done.
Right then, we're down to the last 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, okay then. Dave. No, Duane. I think Duane will start on this one. Iconic ships. Oh, okay. No, what we're going to do, we're just going to go for a quick break, and we'll see you in a sec. And welcome back. So, we're on the little last stretch of what's going on. I think we've got 4 categories left. And I'm going to pass this one over to Duane, and it's iconic ships and vehicles. Duane.
Okay, so
Is it singular?
no, breadth. We're talking breadth now, because
Yeah.
I think Star Wars ships, when you're looking purely at the iconic ones, I think offers way more than Star Trek. So I'm just going to list out a few. Okay.
Okay.
So
Yep.
obviously we'll start off with the Millennium Falcon, probably one of the most iconic sci-fi spaceships. Then we have the nice pairing of the X-Wing and the TIE Fighter. So the original New Hope battle there. Then you've got the Slave One. I can't call it anything else. So
You can't call it, you can't not. You can't not. It's
Slave One. Boba
it's a
Fett spaceship
travesty what
is-
Disney are doing. Yeah.
is an iconic Star Wars ship. The Y-wing, the B-wing, and the A-wing. So they kind of bolster up the X-wings quite nicely.
Probably not. To be fair, though, probably not as well known.
Not as well
Got
known,
to
but,
say,
but,
yeah,
but they're
yeah.
in there. Now we're talking about the Star Destroyer, probably one of the most iconic, nasty, evil Empire ships. The Jawa Sandcrawler,
Yeah.
the Tantive 4, the very first ship we saw in Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
Snowspeeder, Speeder Bike. Who can forget the AT-AT? And the ATST, Imperial Shuttle, Land Speeder, and not to forget the lovely Tauntaun. It's a vehicle.
No,
It's
you're
a,
right.
it's a
yeah.
vehicle. It's a vehicle. Those I've put them all on the table. Those are like the iconic ones.
Now, this could be a debate. Would you class the Death Star as a vehicle, even though it's a space station? But it is a vehicle and it can move.
It's a
from
vehicle
A
of
to
sorts.
B.
So yes, I probably would class it as a
Yeah.
vehicle.
But that one, if Dave wants to argue the point that that's not a vehicle, I think we could quite easily get rid of that one.
But yeah, I was actually
Yeah.
thinking about this, and I think it's
It
quite
does move.
interesting
It does
to
move.
note.
It does move. Yeah.
It does move. It doesn't stay one
But
place.
it is classed as a space station. That's its.
But it's.
actual
I was
title.
thinking about this when you're thinking about your basic sort of shapes of things. So you've got a 3D representation of a circle, which is you've got the Death Star. Then you've got a 3D representation of a triangle, which is your Star Destroyer. And they went, "Oh, should we do a 3D representation of a square?" They went, "No, that's shit." And then Star Trek decided to use it.
Okay, Duane. Well, I didn't know where you were going this one. That was shots fired right there. Right, Dave. I do apologise about my colleague, but please don't let him
Okay.
put you off your stride.
Okay.
Let's. What you got, mate? What you got? What you got?
I'll just ask you a question. Can I ask you a question, Duane, first?
Yes. Sorry, Stu's lost it.
What do those ships? What do those ships do? What have they got? What do they do?
Well, the Millennium Falcon can do the Kessel Run in less than 13 parsecs.
All right. Anything else? Or see that this to me, right? This is it's everywhere you look, you can find this parallel actually with what we've been talking about, and this might be the most classic example yet of Star Wars just not having depth. So
But
those things, they're
have,
just
like,
different shaped things. They're just different shaped things. That's all they are. So I've only got one ship for you, really. Right? Let's pick the Enterprise. Right?
Because pretty much all Star Trek ships are based on the same thing, like circle plate thing.
They're based
and
on the
two
same
things sticking out
design.
the back.
They're based on the same
Yeah.
design because at Star Trek's inception, it was determined that the warp nacelles, which is the two sausage things, because of the way they operate, have to be away from the hull, the main hull of the ship. See, thought has gone into that. It's not like, oh, let's make it look like this. There's thought in that. That's why it looks how it looks, because that's how it's gotta look to be able to function. What else is there?
No, see. So I'll argue actually the Millennium Falcon, it's not actually that well known, but actually the design of the Millennium Falcon is because it's like a freight ship, and you get these freight capsules which sit in between the two little nose things. That's actually the design of the Millennium Falcon, but it's just never been shown.
There we are. I've managed to pull a bit of detail out of you in terms of
There you
there's some thought gone into those ships. Right, what else has the Enterprise got then? It's instantly recognisable. Admittedly, the Falcon is as well, so I can't really argue that.
It's got the little radar dish on the front.
Hang on. Let me stop here. Are you basing all your argument one ship v one ship? Are you going to base all your
No,
argument?
I'm just talking about no.
Right, okay.
No.
I just need to know. I just need to know because the detailed notes I'm keeping. I just need to know. Okay, carry on.
So you've got the warp nacelles, which I've talked about. The Enterprise has got Jeffries tubes. It's got phasers. It's got photon torpedoes. It's got transporters. It's got a holodeck. My point is, these ships, they work. There's depth to the ships. It's not just, oh, it looks like this, it looks like that. There's depth to the ships. You can't name any features of any of those Star Wars ships you were talking about because there aren't any. They're just different shaped things.
No, that's not true. Right, so your X-wing is your basic fighter. So your Y-wing is a bomber.
It's basic, all right. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, I'm just talking basically. I'm not talking. I mean, they've all got kind of like things, and if you want to talk to somebody far nerdier than I am, they will actually.
There's
tell
nothing
you
nerdy about
all
what
the
I've just
different
said.
things.
That's just known stuff.
No. Known stuff. So yeah, you're right. Your Y wing's your bomber. Your A wing is your like more kind of like light craft. So it's a bit faster, a bit nippier, and your B wing's kind of a bit more of an overall thing again. It's a bit bigger. So they all do
Okay,
have.
sorry, that one's a bit bigger than that one. Yeah, sorry, sorry, mate. I didn't realise there was such marked differences, mate. That's my point. It's just different shape stuff.
Different shaped stuff.
There's just different.
But
the ships in Star Trek have got purpose. They've got things in them that make them what they are.
Well, so do the Star Wars ships. Just because I haven't gone into like that in depth about it, I'm just talking about the ships generally.
Dave,
being
your
more
argument
iconic.
at the moment is a bit piss poor. I've got to say.
Not.
I am stepping. No. What I'm
What's
trying
the
to do here.
difference between the two
No.
things?
Listen, Dave. I'm trying to get you to cut up your game here because the Star Destroyer, a Super Star Destroyer.
I could list other ships then. I could list the Borg.
Wouldn't mind. That'd be nice if you could. Okay, the Excelsior.
the cube.
So the Borg cube.
Yeah, there's the cube.
They did a sphere as well.
You know what? The Borg cube. That is a but that is a valid. That is a valid
yeah, that's
argument.
a pretty iconic
The transporter thing, by the way, that's purely a storytelling tool to get people from A to B. That's all it is.
But it's
hyperspeed. It's just a storytelling tool.
Okay. There that isn't.
Well, okay, it's detail there, but like Borg would have been a not a better choice than Enterprise because Enterprise is iconic. Of course, it is. But Borg is a very good vehicle.
After it.
What, the Borg?
No, the Enterprise.
No, and that is absolutely brilliant. It's like there is no Star Wars vehicles.
Klingon Bird of Prey.
That's a pretty cool ship.
Yeah,
it's cool. Yeah,
Romulan Warbird.
But again, you're just now your criticisms towards Duane.
I just said I could list some ships. Well, all right.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, a Romulan Warbird then. Just to
drinking his coffee. I'm gonna get this.
It's got a cloaking device. It uses a singularity, a quantum singularity to power it.
Yeah, but that works in that.
That's detail. That's detail.
Yeah, but in that. Yeah, but it doesn't.
It is there. It's just not necessary to kind of.
Remember, the ship there is a
down.
storytelling device, and so you're having a cloak. Great. Actually, didn't the last film have a cloak on one of their vehicles?
What's Star Trek?
Yeah, Star Wars. That shitty Star Wars film, the one where Leia's actually alive again, and they plummet into the planet or something. I don't know. It's that shit. I just don't want to see it again. I'm just trying to forget that film ever existed. But anyway, you don't associate like cloaking devices with Star Wars, even though they'll probably put them in or whatever, because it's more of a storytelling device, yeah. But like you're thinking about I'm thinking right when you're saying iconic ships, I'm thinking about the shape. When you see a silhouette, if I see a cube, I will actually just think of the Borg. If I see a ship which doesn't have to look like the Enterprise, but it has the fins of a starship and the round base, I'll think, oh, that's from Star Trek. If I see like a semicircle with a groove in the middle, well, that looks like a Falcon. It's silhouette here, no details.
Yeah.
See a triangle. It's just a circle. There'll be a Death Star. Now the ones I think I've got a bit of contention with. Got a bit of contention with A, B, and Y wings, only because I think you've got to be real proper Star Wars fans really to know where they come from. But I think anybody who's not a Star Wars fan would know what the Millennium Falcon looks like, would know what a Star Destroyer looks like, would know what the Death Star looks like in a silhouette form.
An X-wing looks like
an X-wing. A TIE Fighter.
A TIE Fighter.
Absolutely iconic design there. Forget the TIE Bomber and Darth Vader's TIE Fighter. The standard bog standard TIE Fighter. Absolutely iconic in that one. So, yeah, yes, you are right. The Enterprise, because most of its storytelling is about the ship. Remember, the ship in the Enterprise is a part of the crew. It's the other member. Yeah. And that's fine because it's its storytelling device. It needs that. It needs that ship, and it needs to be able to have a holodeck so then they can have these other adventures, which the writers then have got even more breaths they can write into. And teleporters so they can get them to planets quicker and all that storytelling device again. I think the amount of visible, iconic vehicles would have to be Star Wars. All I can think about in Star Trek is the Enterprise shape. It doesn't have to be the Enterprise, but they're all the same. You are right, like the Excelsior.
That's fine. That's fine. I'll concede the point, but it just further strengthens my point that with Star Wars, it's all surface level stuff.
No, it's not.
Because you're just saying it's just what they look like. It's just what I was saying.
But Star Trek is a different. Right, to be fair, we're also comparing apples to oranges. Star Trek is not Star Wars. And Star Wars isn't Star Trek.
No, I know.
And and we're not. Well, we are comparing. We are leaguing it, and we are going to have a score at the end. And there's going to be a winner. There's going to be a loser. But at the end of the day, they are different things completely. Now, Star Trek, most of its storytelling is not most of it. A lot of it, it's about the ship and on the ship, and the ship is a part of. That's where it's the hub where they always go back. It's it's the place where they start and the place where they end. It's always back on the ship. Star Wars doesn't need that. It needs the whole world or the whole universe or galaxy or whatever to move around, and it needs the ships just to transport them from A to B. When you're saying iconic ships, though, what I see in it is as the voter here is if you just show me cards. If you show me a card, okay, I know what a Star Trek space shuttle looks like, so that's a bit of a unfair thing, but I don't think most people will.
I would.
It's just quite. It's quite.
I would more easily recognise.
You would know what a Battlestar Galactica Viper looks like, and you would know what a Battlestar Galactica Cylon ship looks like. Of course, iconic, absolutely iconic ships. They only have one purpose. They're just small. You know what I mean? So it's like that. So Dave, on this one, I'm sorry. It does pain me because
no, I was going to say actually,
the Enterprise.
When it comes to like small vehicles which are attached to a big vehicle, I couldn't tell you what the Star Trek transporter thing is, but I could tell you what Starbug looks like from Red Dwarf.
Well, the transporter is not a physical thing. It's a what's it thing, isn't it?
No, there's like a little shuttle
teleportation thing. Oh yeah, well, there's a shuttle. Yeah.
A little shuttle thing.
Which is quite. The Star Trek shuttles are quite nondescript, to be fair. They're just sort of blocks, really.
They're like minibuses or something.
Four transits, mate. Yeah, there's like four transits.
If you show a picture of somebody who's not really into it, then they go, "Okay, it looks like whatever." So, right, we've done iconic ships and vehicles. Are you two happy with that one? I've cast my vote. It's
which way
Star
did you
Wars.
go?
Star Wars.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, that's
coming,
mate. That's fine. That's fine.
Okay,
that's
right
fine,
then.
Stu.
This one, I think Dave's got it kind of in the. I don't know. It depends how good Duane is arguing on this one. So, alien species representation. Dave, you first.
Oh, it's just all about the depth again. Really, you got the Klingons, which are probably the most famous. But they're like this proud warrior race steeped in culture. They've got all these kind of rituals. There's a language. There's a Klingon language that was invented for Star Trek 3. So you can study Klingon if you want. There's a language. As bizarre as that sounds. You've got the Borg that are made up of just other people, other races that have been assimilated into the collective. So they're pretty tragic, really. They've got a very singular vision. There's the Ferengi that are all about profit and making money. The Vulcans, who have tried to remove emotion from from themselves, and they're purely logic, but actually they're not, because they've got really deep set emotions that they sort of struggle to control all the time. You've got the Romulans that are like the bloody Stasi. They're the Vulcans' cousins, but they're like into all this kind of secretive stuff, and they're horrible bastards. You've got the Orions that are green and sexy. There's loads, and there's depth to them. Again, there's just all this stuff underneath the surface that explains how they are. It's not just a load of different.
Yeah, the one thing I do like about Star Trek is I do think there is attention to detail on the amount of alien species they do have, and they interact with, like Romulan. If you like Star Trek, even a little bit, I don't think you have to be that into it, but you know what a Romulan is. You know what their core traits are as well. Yeah, but you're not in Star Trek, so
you know about Klingon. You know what Klingon.
Yeah, you know what a Klingon is. You know they're a warring race. A Romulan is a trading race. Borg. They want to simulate people, but it's weird the Borg as well, because you can look at them as an evil threat, but they are. But they also just say, "Going well, we're more superior, and we want it." But also, we want to incorporate everybody. We want everybody's traits into our system.
And they're all victims, because they've all been assimilated against their will. So they're all victims as well.
and then obviously you got the planets, M-class planets, and all that kind of stuff with people on there and things like that. So I don't know. I think Dave's got a really good argument here. I mean, I'm a big Star Wars fan, as you know. So, Duane,
the thing is,
what have you got?
As we've talked about before, I think Star Trek has got, because it's more spread out over series. I've said this before. They've got more time to kind of build up these things, whereas Star Trek doesn't. And I will kind of concede, I think, that yes, I think there are a lot of alien species within the Star Wars universe. I mean, just look at the that cantina moment when they first walk in New Hope, like the amount of creatures that are around. Like, but being a Star Wars fan, Dave, can you imagine? Can you name any of those species in that canteen?
It's just a bunch of things that look different. There's nothing underneath.
No, but that's it. I will agree. It's just like a bunch of things that look different. So yes, there is like a mass of different things. But I think you'd have to be really nerdy to like know.
Well, yeah, you've got the Wookiees, and you got Yoda's race, and you got all that all those races which they're there for the storytelling.
Jawas, you sort of know about the Jawas. And
they're the storytelling beats, and like you need to know about those characters as well.
The Mon Calamari and that kind of thing. But yeah, I don't think they go in as much depth as Star Trek does. I think I'll have to concede this one. I think Star Wars does have a lot. But I don't think any of them are as fleshed out as they are in the Star Trek. But I mean, a lot of them in Star Trek are just people painted different colours, though.
There is that, but I think
there's a reason for that. There is an episode of Star Trek that explains why they all look the same. I won't go into it now, but there is.
Okay,
good, because it's already run into a very long
fine.
podcast. As it is.
It is explained.
So notch that one up to Star Trek. I will concede that one.
Okay then. So we'll move swiftly on, so Dave doesn't argue himself out of a point. Representation in other media forms.
Is this the last topic?
There's one after.
One after this one. Iconic moments.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So this will include books, music. Remember Shatner? He's a good singer. Don't diss him.
Hey, and what about Leonard Nimoy and the Ballad of Bilbo Baggins?
Exactly, yeah.
Oh,
so
man.
and computer game representation, because we've not even touched on any of that at the moment. So I'm going to pass this one over to Dave. Now this one I think is going to be a back and forth one. So, but I'm going to start off with Dave and see what he comes out with first.
I haven't got much, to be honest. I know there's a lot of stuff, but things that come to mind. All right, we'll start with video games then. I might get crucified for this, but I can only think of one Star Trek game that's any good, and I haven't played many. I think I've played 3, and 2 of them were shit. I played a game on, I think it was Xbox, the original Xbox, called Shattered Universe, which you fly ships around and shoot other ships, and that was terrible. Star Trek Online, I had a little dabble at that.
That's so bad.
Yeah, and that's shit. The only Star Trek game I've played and enjoyed is Bridge Crew. And that's because
that is amazing.
That's because there's been a group of us, and what a game, because you're on the bridge of the Enterprise, and Stu, Christ.
I've enjoyed playing that game solo. I've enjoyed playing that game solo because you're in, you are captain, you are, you ain't got anybody. Okay, I love playing with you lot. Of course I do. It's the best. But you're just sitting there, you're looking around, you're going, hey, I'm actually on a bridge here, and I'm in captain's chair, and I don't know, it's quite cool. I just wish that game was a little bit more in depth. It would have been nice to like go to other decks or go to the engineer, engineering and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, that's going a bit about there. Okay, so about
Duane.
books?
Well, should we go to Duane on games and then?
Okay, yeah.
So
Duane has no
again,
games.
I think.
Yeah, Duane hasn't got
no games. So Star Wars, I think, it's a very mixed bag of quality of games. I mean, there are some pretty shocking games, but I think the standout ones are the Rogue Squadron games, particularly the first one, which came out on the GameCube, which I think was Rogue Leader, which basically took you through all the iconic Star Wars from the original trilogy. So it started with the Death Star attack and then went all the way through to the Death Star attack and Return of the Jedi, with a couple of like other missions in between, and that was really, really good. I never played it, but Knights of the Old Republic has like a lot of love. The old PCR MMORPG, however you want to say that. And Fallen Order, like the most recent offering, was just amazing. So good. Battlefront, people seem to put a lot of time into it, but you know, it's one of those EA cash machine type things with your loot boxes and whatnot, so we kind of gloss over that. But I think Star Wars has more to offer game wise than Star Trek does.
Can I add?
Yes,
to this?
please do.
Yeah, okay. Right, so I've got to admit, I've never played a good Star Trek game. I've never, and the only one I have played is probably that online one because it was a free. Oh my god, it's god awful. It's a terrible game. It's an MMO, and I'm not into MMOs, and it's just really janky as well. I think you've played it as well, Dave. It's just
Shit.
game.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go, but way back, cast your mind back to the year 1983, maybe. Atari 2600. Empire Strikes Back on that. Loved it when I was a kid. Loved it.
Oh, I do sort of remember that. Yeah.
Yeah,
okay,
I'm talking really old cool. The Lego Batman game. The Lego Star
Lego
Wars
Star
games.
Wars are
They were nice.
fantastic.
I remember having a Wii, and it was near enough impossible to get a New Hope for the Wii. A Lego Star Wars A New Hope, and I managed to get it, and it was I just played it and loved it and all that kind of stuff. The only game back then I played on PC a lot, I even bought a graphics card at the time just so I could do it, was Jedi Knight 2. Love Jedi Knight 2. It was an amazing game. But then, I don't know, it sort of tapered off a bit. I played the Lego games. I didn't really play the racer one because
I've had it on the N64. That was actually good.
but it was connected to a crap film, and I just had I just didn't want anything to do with it really. So, X-Wing v TIE Fighter though.
Yeah,
that was
any of those dogfighty ones.
Loved that on the PC. It was ace. It was really good. Battlefront now. Friend of the show, Jamie. I remember me and him. We bought Battlefront. It was only like a tenner and stuff, and it was like the tenner for the full ultimate version and all that. Because obviously, I dropped the ball on that one as well. It was the first one, and we were really excited. We played it for for about a week, and we were expecting everybody else to play it as well because it was really cheap, and nobody else has ever played it since. Even because it's that typical, everybody's going to buy Destiny 2 and nobody plays it kind of thing. But it's a very good game. It's a very good shooter. You know, Battlefront 2 is virtually free on all platforms anyway now, and it's a good shooter. You can ignore all the loot boxes. It's a good shooter. I am quite looking for, and now I know we're not talking about things which are coming out, but they're remaking all the Lego Star Wars games, and that's in the future release. So I'm quite looking forward to that. Yeah. I'm quite looking forward to that. But unfortunately, though, we got the prequels and the sequels in there as well, but we can ignore those for now. Did you ever play Force Awakens?
Yep, both of them. Really enjoyed those.
That was awesome. Yeah, I quite enjoyed that as well. So, on the games front, then, I think Star Wars does win that one. Just because of our experiences and even Dave's experiences. And now, if Dave pulled a game out which is like, this is the seminal Star Trek game you should be playing if you are in Star Trek, then fair enough. But I don't think you can pull one out the bag, can you, on that one? Dave?
Well, only Bridge Crew, but
I'm not going to. Bridge Crew is amazing.
Which is a great game, but
it is a great game.
I can't. Fucking hell, I can't think of anything else. So,
I know.
Star Wars has definitely got it on the games.
Now, as everybody knows, I'm very thinly read, so I cannot comment on any kind of book literature. I've read A New Hope, and it was a terrible book. Film is far better than the book. But what about novelisation of the films? You know, obviously, there was a big
I tend to avoid
controversy.
novelizations of films because they're never that good normally. But Star Wars has had like a lot of novels of like alternate star. A lot of it has been discounted as non-canon. I think there's like a Timothy Zahn series.
That's because of Disney. That's not because of
Disney have like fucked it basically. There's like a load of comic books. There's like a load of books. I think they released High Republic, which is like going way back, way before even New Hope timeline, so they've kind of like really been expanding the universe quite a lot with that. I'm not saying any of it's any good. I did try to read the first book. It seemed a bit, I'm going to say Michael Bay. It's like trying to be too actiony, and that's not what you want in a book. You want something a bit more cerebral, but yeah, it just felt a bit blah. So I didn't enjoy it, but it's there. It's something that exists.
All comics.
And
Sorry,
comic
that's a
books.
blatant-
It's just so many Star Wars comic books. I wouldn't even know where to start with those.
But there's also lots of Star Trek ones. Did you ever read Star Trek ones, Dave? Comics or anything like that?
No.
No. I had a moment when I was younger, like been for a couple of years Star Trek comics, and they were quite good. They're just comics of adventures and that. So okay,
I just comics are superheroes to me. I struggle to read a comic about anything else really.
Yeah, it's not my thing. I know lots of people are really into it, but it's not something.
How about role playing games? Did any of you guys ever used to play Star Trek role playing game or Star Wars?
Star Wars role playing game as well? No, I never.
I played both. I have
just
played
Dungeons
both.
and Dragons for me.
Yeah, so it was. I really had a good time in playing both as well. They are very different games as well. It is like comparing, apples and oranges. Very different, but very enjoyable. Good game. If you're into role playing games, they are very good games in that sense.
The only Star Trek books I've read is
the annual 1977.
No. I read William Shatner wrote a series of Star Trek books that were after Generations had finished, which was Generations was a film that Kirk died in on that mountain.
Spoiler alert.
Oh yeah, sorry, shit, ruined it. And he wrote it's 3 or 4 books that I read a couple of times each, and at the time I did really enjoy them, and then I thought about them afterwards, and but basically, well, Captain Kirk gets brought back from the dead by, I think it's the Borg that resurrects him from the dead. And he sort of turns into this, like, you can tell William Shatner wrote him. Captain Kirk's like a fucking superhero that he spends more time with Picard, and he's better than Picard, and then he spends time with Janeway, and Janeway fancies him, and do you know what I mean? It's like a teenage boy's written them, really.
Fan fiction.
It is sort of fan fiction. It's just about how ace Captain Kirk is and all the rest of it. And at the time, I thought they were good, but I think now they're a bit sort of trashy, really. But that's the only. I'm not confident in this subject that I'm going to get the point, as you can tell. That's the only stuff I've written.
Well, one subject I have no knowledge on now. Duane, please correct me. Is music of any of the Star Wars crew? Apart from the Cantina Band, doesn't count. Or John Williams does not count, even though the most iconic music, I think, more iconic than Star Trek.
Okay, so if you're,
my opinion.
So I would argue, so you can't talk about William Shatner's stuff because it's not directly, because you were talking earlier on about separating the actors from the roles. So you can't say
I was trying to get it in there. I was trying to shoehorn it in.
Stuff that he did musically like that. Amazing, have to say, absolutely amazing cover of Rocket Man was just
Common People.
Common People he did as well.
Common People is just so good, so good. And I did sort of joke about it, but Leonard Nimoy's Ballad of Bilbo Baggins it's good fun, but it's not Star Trek and it's not Star Wars. So if you want to talk about music, which we haven't, and I don't think we should grade it. But John Williams.
Yeah, we need to
top
the cap. Now, this is my ignorance. Now, hopefully you guys know who wrote the iconic music for Star Trek. Does anybody know? Or
the fanfare?
Without looking it up.
The fanfare? No, I don't know without looking it up. No,
because that is iconic. It's just absolutely iconic. It is. But with Star Wars, with a crawl, where they're just sitting in there at the cinema.
And I did go and see Star Wars and Empire with a live orchestra doing that, and it just blew me away. So it's just amazing.
But I'm willing to only on the music here because the Star Trek.
But you can't include that. Because
it's not part. We've gone off topic.
Other media.
We've gone off topic.
And that's
Yeah, well,
part of the
music.
film.
You know, we haven't gone off topic.
Yeah, but it's in
Music is
it's
other
in the
than
film. You can't include it.
We didn't actually bring score as a thing, but I think Star Wars
Okay,
will win that anyway,
okay,
but-
fair enough. Well, you know what I was going to say there, Dave. I was going to wrap it up there, but my personal opinion would be they are both so important and iconic that I wouldn't be able to
You couldn't
score
split
one
them.
above the other.
No, I
couldn't.
agree.
Star Trek is too. Their theme tune is too important and too iconic, and Star Wars is too, iconic and too important not to.
Has
They are.
Star Wars had a #1 single?
Yes. What was it? The
Okay.
Fate of Two something. It was Phantom Menace.
Jewel of
Remember?
Fates. Jewel of
That's
Fates,
it. Yeah, it was a number. I think it was a #1 single. I think
But it's
I
from
don't
the
know.
film. But is that from the film?
it is from the
Yeah,
film.
Doesn't
Yeah,
count.
it's the.
It doesn't count.
Okay. So what?
Star
Oh, you
Trek
talking about Star
Star
Trek by the
Trek
firm?
across the universe
By the firm.
on the Starship Enterprise under.
You know what,
Captain
mate? He's got us there. He's got us there.
Kirk. I rest my case.
Wow. I'm gonna have to give this one Star Wars. I'm afraid.
Oh.
Only. Well, your whole argument is Star Trekking.
That's
it really,
That is
isn't
the
it?
majority of my
Because
argument,
your game experience of what you know of games is one game and you thought it was shit. Oh no, sorry, Bridge Crew, which you thought was about, and I think it's amazing too. Don't get me wrong, but the other game is crap. You've not really read anything of it.
I read the William
And you
Shatner
only can
books,
pull one
but I
song.
did say they were shit as well. Actually, yeah.
Yeah, I am going to give this one Star Wars. Now, this might, if anybody listens to this, I hope they do, because this is a proper document now out there for people to, go back to. Hope they don't hate us for marking this one, because this is a tough one. Only because I'm not overly au fait with Star Trek media across other, platforms and things like that. And by the sound of it, the person who's defending Star Trek isn't. So, but anyway, the Star Wars is getting a mark on that one. So, the last one.
Where does
What's
that
the-
out of
what's the
interest?
scores? What's the
What's that
scores?
put the scores?
Well, okay. So far, remember, and I've gone back and done control moments, and I've given that one to Star Trek, so that I'm not off the fence. Star Trek has got it. Star Trek now has 1, 2, 6, but Star Wars has 8.
Oh.
So even if you get iconic moments,
Oh.
you're not going to win. But you will be a really right. If Star Wars gets this, then you're 3 points behind. If you get this, then you're only 1 point behind. Yeah? So it is peg leveling. It's been really close call all the way through.
Okay,
So,
this is for pride.
This is
this is
Come on.
exactly for pride. Okay, so iconic moments.
We already know what
I'm
Dwayne's going to say. So
Right,
fine.
let's go to Duane because he's in the lead at the moment with his Star Wars vote. So yes, Duane, let's go.
Okay, so just touching because I think because that's where the most iconic moments fell. We'll just talk about the original trilogy. So, opening crawl, just amazing. Then cut straight to Tantive 4 being chased by a Star Destroyer. So a big fucking ship comes on screen, and then a fucking bigger ship comes on screen. That's just like it's probably one of the most memorable moments in Star Wars. And then moving forward, the canteen scene with all those races of aliens all kind of together drinking. Then moving forward again, the Death Star attack, the trench run. See, it's just so good.
And we don't get into Empire.
You can only pick one.
No, we're talking all
iconic moments. plural.
iconic moments.
Oh, is it?
So I'm just
Oh shit!
sort
You
of
only have one.
just touching on them briefly, just touching on them very, very briefly. So then moving on to Empire Strikes Back, you got the snow speeder attack on the AT-ATs, going around the legs, taking them down. Oh, so
Ion
good.
cannon. The ion cannon.
First shuttle is away. Yay! Then there's like the Yoda thing, pulling the X-wing out of the swamp. Then there's like the whole Cloud City thing. There's the thing that Stu mentioned earlier with it like hands going down and Leia goes, "I love you." Goes, "I know." Just like, oh my god. Then you've got the whole Darth Vader reveal. "I am your father." Like the battle there. It's just like so good. And then going on to Return of the Jedi, it kind of the Han rescue was a bit blur, but the attack, the pinnacle of the finale of Return of the Jedi with that attack on the Death Star is just amazing.
And Luke losing his shit. Oh,
Luke
that's
losing
amazing.
his shit, then Vader and that battle, and then him taking his helmet off. It's just full of iconic moments. That trilogy, it's just so good, so good. I'm not even going to go into like what I think is actually pretty good, which is pod racing and the three-way battle, lightsaber battle. And I know we just touched on it, and it's not technically an iconic moment, but the soundtrack is iconic in itself. I mean, having sat watching like an orchestra play that, it was just, you see how well it ties in with what's going on screen. It's just amazing. Just so good.
The Empire Death March and Leia's theme, and
it's just so many individual themes
Luke's,
that's so recognisable.
Yeah, Luke's theme as well when he's, it's just yeah, I agree, yeah. But Lloyd, also there are also iconic moments on Star Trek as well.
Oh, there are. Please tell us, Dave.
Well, I've got one.
Is it? Let me guess. It's when Spock. It's when Spock dies at the end of Wrath of Khan, and his hand comes up and comes down.
Oh, that is iconic. You don't diss that, Duane.
No, I'm not.
Duane,
I'm just saying that's the one I can. That's the one I can think of.
The problem is there's lots of moments, and as you have done, Duane, so eloquently. To be fair, you've listed top bits out of those films, right? And I could list top bits out of the Star Trek films. The problem is it's a smaller frame of reference, so they just.
Okay, give me an example then, Dave.
I don't think they've got the impact. Right. Well, for me, the top iconic moment from Star Trek is the opening credits. The space, the final frontier, and you've got the fanfare going. And
you're talking about original. Are you talking about all?
Well, the Next Generation does it as well, but that's a really famous Star Trek thing that I think you'd struggle to find anyone on the planet that didn't know about that.
Yeah,
if you
I agree.
Space, that's just such a famous speech. New life, new civilizations, all that kind of stuff. That's probably, well, it is. I think that's the most iconic thing in all of Star Trek. Is that speech that Kirk gives and then Picard gives at the start of the respective TV shows. I just don't think it gets bigger than that in terms of the sheer volume of people knowing that thing. No, I don't think anything else. Spock dying.
It is hard.
Blowing up at the end of Star Trek 3.
Oh God, yeah.
The whales. I love the whales in Star Trek 4. That was an amazing thing.
When they go over to Chicago as well, and sort of the whole of the Chicago bridge is just completely underwater because they need to get the whales back in and stuff because the anomaly. It's ice. Like,
yeah, it is. It's San Francisco, but yeah, it is.
That's San Francisco. Sorry, yeah.
Stuff like that, but the stuff that Duane's listed, I don't think Star Trek has got the volume of stuff on that magnitude, and it's a real shit.
Mad
but it has so much that it could have.
Yeah, I mean, we have already established that Star Trek has more content.
Yeah, but it's more. I just think it's more understated. It hasn't got the. Someone said, well, I don't know who said it, but they said the difference between Star Wars and Star Trek is, if you looked at it in music terms, that Star Trek is classical music and Star Wars is rock and roll. So Star Wars is a lot more crash bang wallop.
Yeah, I'd probably agree with that.
Trek,
actually.
And Star Trek has got the depth underneath. So I think Star Wars lends itself more to having these big crash bang wallop iconic moments than Trek. I think Trek's
Well, okay, how about
in its depth.
I'm trying to give you a bone here as well. What about the iconic moments with Uhura, which you mentioned earlier on?
The first interracial kiss.
Yeah, that's
I'd say that's pretty
mind
iconic.
blowing.
It was like the first.
Well, it is. Well, it is. Yeah, it is iconic. But I don't think it's I don't think there's enough of that. If you're going for one iconic thing, I would go for the opening credits, the Space: The Final Frontier thing, because everybody in the
Again,
world
this is tough. This is
knows
tough
that.
for me because obviously I'm a massive Star Wars fan. But I am a massive Star Trek fan as well. Nowhere near as much of Dave, but everything what Duane has listed has just got me. Yes, 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 and yes. Is everything. And the best thing is, it's on the proper first 3 films. I can't really give you anything what happened in the rest. I couldn't give a friend of mine once said. I remember we saw Phantom Menace and we went to see it a couple of times. We were quite excited and then realised it was a bad film. And then he said to me, one day, what makes those films completely different to the others is you couldn't give a shit about any of the characters. They could just die tomorrow and you would not care. You cared about Chewie. You cared about Han. You cared about Luke. You cared about R2. Those ones. And those like all iconic bits. So that's what I'm trying to say. Like the bits what Duane has only listed has only been in the first 3 films. You've got a whole raft of 1966 to present day TV series, including films, and the only one you can mention is the title sequence.
But as I said just now, I think that's the difference between the two things.
I don't agree with the classical and rock and roll thing.
No, I can see how that analogy
I can
works.
see it, but I don't really agree with it because that's underselling. I'm sorry, Star Trek. The last 3 films have been rock and roll. That's all they are.
Yeah.
If you're going to go in that sense,
look who made them. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. Maybe. I think you know where I'm going to go with this one, don't you?
Yeah. Shock.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm sorry.
shock.
I have to. It's.
I
short
just. I mean,
circuit.
maybe in that last reign, I didn't do Star Trek justice. I don't know, but I cannot list the things that Duane can list. But I don't think that's a fault of Star Trek. I just think that
it's just more subtle.
Is what it is. Yeah. Yeah. It just hasn't got as many of those moments because it's got different things like
Right.
like depth of character and proper storytelling.
Okay. Now, I've got the final scores, and Star Wars is the winner with 9 categories won over Star Trek's 6 categories. But please don't underestimate or understate. Star Trek is ace. I really like Star Trek a lot. Like Star Wars more, but there is little less content which we've already established in this. But I'm always excited when a Star Trek series is announced and we can say. And I am pissed off that I can't watch the new Star Trek. Well, I'll find ways to watch it, but I can't watch it in my normal manner where it was on one particular provider. Now it's not allowed. It's got to be on another. So we have to hunt for it and jump through hoops for it. It's a bit annoying. And I do hope, and I really do hope they sort out the franchise. I hope they sort out Star Wars. Jesus Christ, I'm not looking forward to the new films.
I don't know. Taika Waititi's pretty good. I think that's good hands there.
Yeah, I think they got a lot to prove though. I'm jaded at the moment, but like I want Star Trek to sort out the contractual problems and get a film out. I just do. Just get it out. Just get something out there. Star Trek fans are chopping at the bit for this. They want a film. They want their heroes, their characters on screen, and they want them on their ranches.
But haven't we sort of decided that actually, I think this kind of has proved that Star Trek actually works better in the TV medium. So
way better, yeah.
So I think actually just stick to what you're good at. Actually, don't, because I think those sort of long, overarching stories, those kind of character developments, is actually better for the fans than these kind of like quick, I'm going to say, rock and roll type movies where it kind of doesn't
if
it
they
doesn't
can
do
get
it justice.
If they can get a proper film series going, like they did with like 2, 3, and 4, where there is some story continuation and you've got some really great characters, then I think that is then movies is fine. But I kind of do agree with you guys about the TV thing. Yeah.
So, right then, that's the conclusion. So, I hope now we've put this to bed. Star Wars is better than Star Trek. End of debate. The
End of.
log has ordered the statements to be true.
Congratulations, Duane.
You're welcome.
On your,
It was
on
a
your-
good fight. I mean,
for proving
I tell you,
Star Wars
got
is
some
better.
good quality wins in there, though, I'll tell you. But anyway, we're going to sign off now. So I'm just going to end with some housekeeping. You can find us all on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and get us on email. If you search for TheLoggBox, and that's 2 G's in log, on Google, you'll find us at the top of the list. Email us, theloggbox@gmail.com. We always hang about on Facebook, so just get us there. We're a bit old, so Twitch and Instagram. Oh, sorry, Twitter and Instagram are a bit whenever we can be asked. So we're not very good at that one. So, but yeah. So if you get any thoughts, comments, thoughts, and ideas or whatever, just stutter them over to us. So, but what we'll say is, we'll see you all later. Bye.
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 Play ball. Finish him.
Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.